See that blue dot there?
Oh, and we just talk like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's us. We're good.
Home race. Levi Kitchen dominates Seattle.
I was supposed to go to GEICO. They called me and were like, it almost sounded fake, but they're like, hey, the team's folding. That was a weird thing, the Star deal. Like, it took forever. I said I was sick, but really I just left a day early, flew to Atlanta, rode the bike anyway.
What was your impressions of it?
The only way I could describe it was a KTM, a Yamaha, like, had a baby. What really was weird for me is when I started to realize, like, I was racing every single day.
What lengths were you prepared to go to beat him?
I probably would have done something so dumb to try to win that it might have screwed both of us, you know.
What was that night worth you?
500. Jason Lawrence comes to mind. He was the bad guy, and it was sweet. And you had RV, who was the good, quiet guy. And honestly, I think you're seeing a perfect rematch of that with me and Haiden. What's up, everybody? It's the chef. Go check out the latest episode on Gypsy Tales.
It is important to me that supplements I take are of the highest quality, and that's why for years now I've been drinking AG1. Unlike many supplement brands, AG1 conducts relentless testing to set the standard for purity and potency. Quality for AG1 isn't just a buzzword, it's a commitment backed by expert-led scientific research, high-quality ingredients, industry-leading manufacturing, and rigorous testing. I know I can trust what's in every scoop of AG1 because it's tested for 950 contaminants and banned substances, while the industry standard typically only tests for 10. I love that every scoop of AG1 includes probiotics, prebiotics, and digestive enzymes for gut support, rhodiola, and B vitamins for energy support. So if you want to replace your multivitamin and more, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs at drinkag1.com/gypsytales. Check it out.
I met a gypsy.
See that blue dot there? There's like a blue,
Oh, and we just talk like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's us. We're good.
See, what's weird is because now I see the angles of the cameras.
You get it.
I get it. But like sitting here, it's not how I expected.
How
Like
did you
I
think it was
expected
gonna
us to
be?
be sitting like me here and you like that way. And then, yeah, this makes more sense now.
Nah, and then we're just here. We're chilling for the next few hours.
All right.
Levi Kitchen, fresh off his victory, not victory, second place, first place at Parla, but either way, you're shredding. So I'm stoked. We've been wanting to do this one for ages. I had a feeling it was going to be a championship podcast, but we're just gonna have to wait for that one for maybe one more year. But regardless, I'm frothing that you're here, mate.
Yeah, I'm stoked I can make it out. And yeah, we're going to have to wait a little bit for that one, obviously. But all in all, it was still a pretty killer Supercross season. And so far, it's been good outdoors too.
So it's kind of funny. I didn't plan to get into the championship thing straight away. It's kind of funny how it can like actually not be a bad thing to not win it. Like I listened to Mathers talk about it the other day. He went on a rant, and I was like, I actually haven't really put that much thought into it. That like you're one of those guys where it's like, whew, kind of dodged a bullet. Like obviously you want to win, but
I mean, I haven't listened to what are you saying as far as moving up? Like, yeah, no, and it's tough because, I mean, if you move up right now, like nobody's leaving.
Yeah.
And
yeah, where do you go?
yeah, like I would love to take Adam's spot, obviously, like that's my goal. But I don't know. There's a lot of people in line waiting for rides, and yeah, we're gonna need like a good 5 people to move out of the class. So I think, you know, in 3 years or so, I feel like there will be some guys moving out, which will benefit me. But now, like, yeah, I mean, for RJ, he's obviously, I think he's got a spot.
Ready, I think too.
Yeah, I think he is. But it's gonna be gnarly for him. I mean, I know that 450 class is no joke for sure.
Yeah. All right, I want to change topic. I didn't plan on talking about Moto for the
first fight.
Where's the best fly fishing in America right now? Like, are you fly fisherman? Are you fisherman? Like, are you across the board? Like, let's go deep.
I'm across the board.
All right, so it's not just fly fishing?
No, I mean, I enjoy fly fishing the most for sure. But now that I live in Florida and like where I've lived the past few years for training, you can fly fish like for bass and stuff, but it's just not
the same.
not the same. No. So growing up, like I would fly fish for trout and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, being from Washington, like steelhead and salmon and all that. So, but Montana, I've been to Montana a few times, in Colorado, and those are the spots. Like it's fun. That's what I always, you know, whenever I would get a break, like, for example, in after Loretta's in 2020, I drove home with my cousin who made it to Loretta's, and we stopped in Montana for like a week.
Dude,
Like we
how
just
sick is it
we
there,
just
eh?
took the longest drive home from Loretta's and fly fished, and it was unreal. Yeah, I miss doing that stuff a lot.
So how'd you get into fishing? I'm guessing your dad, family.
Yeah, and it's funny because I hated it. Like he would always ask me when
Yeah.
I was younger, like, you know, do you want to go fishing on the weekend? I'd be like, no, because like it taught me patience for sure, and I used to just not be that way. And for me, fishing was like go out with my dad and sit on a boat for 6 hours, and you might get a fish, you
Yeah.
know. And it's
Yeah.
like, and then as I get older, you know, I realized the point of it. You know, it's not about really catching fish. It's like if you enjoy just being out there, and
Yeah.
I really do enjoy being out there. You know, I'm just by myself, and it's pretty peaceful.
It's got to be great athletically, you know, like because you kind of get time to do your sport, but not doing it. You know, like
Yeah.
going through your mind, playing out scenarios.
Yeah,
Like,
it's honestly perfect because it's one of those things like Peter's not gonna bitch at me for
fishing.
fishing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think he, you know, likes it because I can go ride and do 235s on a day, and I can be pretty tired, but I'm gonna go sit on my bass boat and you know, just go chill out there and fish. Like it's not like you're using too much energy. So it's good, I think. Like it's, you know, it's better. All the other stuff that I like to do, well, golf kind of is a little bit active recovery also, but you know, growing up it was like BMX bikes, and I can't do that stuff anymore because like
Yeah.
it's just as tiring. Like I can't go to the skate park. Also, Mitch would be pissed if I came home with a broken wrist and was like, I crashed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You guys need you need to keep a clean bill of health.
Yeah.
Like you're carrying a team right now.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you bought when you moved to Florida, you bought a bass boat and you actually spent
Yeah.
some time on that.
Yeah, I bought a bass boat a couple years ago when I moved to Tallahassee with Star.
Yep.
And then just like 4 months ago, I sold that one. Like I got good use of it. And, you know, now that I got some podiums and stuff, I kind of like treat myself in that way. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go get a new one. So I just bought a new one.
What'd you get?
Just a new tracker. Like basically Bass Pro Shops has a line of boats, and
Yeah, right.
I don't know, they're good. Like the
Pull up a
nicer
picture of
one,
it. What are they?
the nicer one of it. Look up the Pro 195.
Yeah, pull this out a bit to you.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Pro 195. I want to see this bad boy.
but it's affordable because I mean bass boats can be, you know, 60
Which one?
grand.
That's sick.
I got black. It was yeah, similar to that exactly. So
That thing's sick.
yeah, it does its job. It's perfect for me. I mean, I'm sure I bought that one like thinking, all right, like this will be good for me. But now like
Yeah.
I'm getting more into it. I fish like tournaments on Wednesday sometimes.
Oh, really?
And you know, you all take off, and like I have a 115 on mine, and there's guys like with 200s, and they just, I mean,
Like the horsepower engines
yeah,
on the back.
they
Yeah.
rip. Like
Yeah.
I go 45 to maybe 48 with like wind at my back. Those guys do like 60. Like Chase's dad, Kier, I'll fish with him. His boat goes so fast. So like I'm at a disadvantage because like you start and you want to get
Yeah,
to a
you wanna
spot.
get to the spot.
Yeah. And although me and my dad, we did podium like the last time I did the tournament, we did pretty good. And it was funny because I roll up in that and like it's a nice boat, but not compared to those bass
You
fishermen.
can go crazy, right?
Yeah. And we come up, we have no idea what the hell we're doing, you know? Like, I mean, kind of. But yeah, dude, it was funny. We made money, and like just seeing all the people pissed off, like the old dudes with their
With their like,
$60,000
gangster
boats.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, dude.
So how's a bass comp work?
I mean, there's different ones, but like the one I do on Wednesdays is just it's from 5 to 9, and yeah, you just head out, and that one's best 3 fish, so it's just best 3 weight, and
And it's just bass, like just a particular species?
yeah, just bass.
What is
for
the
that one.
species out there that you get?
Mainly largemouth bass, and then there's I mean, it depends. Like the freshwater stuff, there is bass, and like little sunfish, like bluegill and stuff, and crappie. But I mean, you can go ocean fishing too. Like offshore is really good, but I'm not super into it. Like I want to get into it, I just don't.
It's a whole different lift.
Yeah, and I need somebody to go with. Like I know Malcolm's I think he's getting a new offshore boat, but I'd like to get into that stuff more, honestly.
Yeah. Have you done much of it?
Not really. I mean, I've always went to Mexico as a kid, like growing up, and
they get big shit off there.
Oh yeah, we'd always go fish. Like I'd catch mahi or dorado, whatever one you want to call it, and then what else, marlin and stuff like that. But
have you caught a marlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like, my dream is to catch a tarpon on a fly rod. It's like, it's been a dream of mine. It's very hard to do, but I want to do that one day. And then I also want to go fish the flats in Mexico and bonefish.
What's a bonefish? You pull that up? What are those bad boys?
They're like one of the most aggressive, or like they fight really well for their size. They don't get super big.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, there's some people fly fishing for them there. Like that's a fly rod, obviously.
Yeah.
But they're just,
let's go back.
See how like shallow the water is?
Yeah.
You fish for them and you sight fish them.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and they're just the target you're trying to hit.
Yeah. And it's like, it could be in like 6 inches of water. Dude.
Yeah.
It looks so fun.
So go back a couple. That there, Giant Trevally.
Yeah.
We got tons of them.
Yeah.
So that's what. Where do you guys get them here? Do you call them Trevally?
We just call them GTs, but
Yeah,
I don't know where I would get them here.
Have you ever got one of them?
So actually, when me and Chase went to Hawaii this last year, our buddy Campbell, in his backyard, he had like this. There was GTs in there, like little ones. It was pretty funny, but that was the only time I ever caught one. I was just messing around. But
how big was it, you reckon?
He's tiny. Like for a GT, he was like that big.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get massive,
dude, and they are like trying to reel up a fucking train.
That's what I've heard.
They're so gnarly. We're in Oman. It's actually like wild story. I got like a friend who's like kind of he owns a resort in Oman, and then he's in with the government. So then he knows like the Navy, and there's these places you can't go, but he can go kind of thing. And man, where we grew up on the reef, that's like one of the big fish that you want to get, like them or mackerel.
Yeah.
Or then you've got like the coral trout. And so, but everyone's like GTs are like the big fighting fish.
Yeah.
And, so anyway, we're in Oman, and it's just me and my mate on his boat, and these things, like, it was like you could fly fish for these things, bro. There's schools and schools and schools of them. I was tripping, but yeah, they're literally like trying to reel in a train.
Yeah, I've heard they're like crazy aggressive. Like you throw topwater baits for them, and they just
lose it.
Yeah, it sounds so fun.
So yeah, no, that's cool. That's sick that you you get that far away from the blacks to just go and like completely different. No one knows who you are. Like, just completely anonymous almost.
Yeah, no, it's nice for sure. And it's been kind of cool because I've had like a couple people hit me up. Like, I honestly feel like now that I've got fans of motocross, like, you know, some people in motocross fish also. So if I want to do like the saltwater thing, I know I could, you know, scroll through a DM and somebody,
after
somebody
this
help
too,
me out.
you're just going to have like a whole flood of people that's just like, I'll take you fishing, bro.
Yeah. So I need to take more like an advantage of that. But I mean, it's so hard to find time.
I don't really have the time at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fishing's such a cool thing to be into as well because of like the travel element.
Yeah.
You know, like I had no idea, but Oman, where we were, that's world famous for GT fishing. And like, man, there was like sailfish jumping out of it. Like, it was one of the crazy things I've ever seen is just like how much activity there was in the ocean there.
Yeah.
But it's such a cool thing. Like, you could travel all over the world. Like, dude, go to Cairns and fish on the reef. Like, just insane.
Yeah. There's
like,
so
amounts
much
of things that you can do, like under just the term fishing.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to go to New Zealand. You know, I want to go to Canada. I've been to Canada, but it was before I was into fishing. Alaska is another bucket list. Like,
that's what I was going to ask, if you'd been to Alaska.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but there's so many things that like I plan to do after racing that like
you just can't do now.
No, but I'm gonna fill a lot of time doing that kind of stuff. Like, that's just what I enjoy doing. So, yeah, it should be fun.
I think that's one of the coolest things that you guys get the opportunity to do. Like, at the level that you're at as like a race winning podium guy, like, you're just in this rare spot where you can be in your 20s and dedicate 10 years to something that then you can spend the rest of your life doing whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Like that's such a crazy opportunity. I don't even know how many people that are in your position like even fully understand like the potential that they have to do that, you know?
I know. Yeah, I always like when I'm feeling a little unmotivated at times, or I don't know, or when I'm just selfish, like at home and like home life, like I bring that up because it's like it's easy to forget. But man, if I just put my head down for 8 to 10 years, like we could do whatever we want like after that. So it's definitely, you know, I don't know, it gives me a lot of motivation to work harder and try to make it happen, because it just seems so fun to be able to do what you want. And even though I think a lot of people that retire and they're done, like they still have their hands in other stuff, just because there's no way I could just be fully done. I mean, you'd lose your mind. Like you see how that goes with other things like actors or musicians, like they go crazy. So, but yeah, it would be pretty enjoyable just to go. I want to, when I'm done, I want to just take like a year and just go travel in like either a camping van or something like that and just go fish. And I feel like that'd be super fun.
Dude, just tow a boat around.
Oh yeah.
It'd be the dream.
Yeah. It'd be sweet.
Do you watch any like YouTube dudes that like fishing YouTubers?
A little bit. Yeah, there's one guy, it's like trout hunting New Zealand. He's in New Zealand. I watch him quite a bit. He catches some big fish. What else? The Guggen Squad guys, like there's this one channel. It's pretty popular. They just do like bass fishing and kind of funny stuff like that. Like challenges or but I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube, honestly. I mean, I'll keep up with the moto stuff sometimes. I'll listen to some of your stuff, but other than that, I don't. Or some like I'll listen to a little bit, or I'll watch some golf YouTube too. But yeah.
There's a YouTube channel, Young Bloods. I'm pretty sure. Try and find that on YouTube. There, the dude is like he's just got like the hot chick, and it's just he is in Western Australia where it's just like unlimited fish and just unlimited everything when it comes. Yeah, like. Look at have you seen this guy's stuff? Mm-hmm. This guy is a savage. Like that's what I'm thinking, you know, retire from this, buy a camera and do some YouTube fish, like a YouTube fishing channel.
I feel like I could do it, yeah.
Dude, for sure you could. This guy's a savage, bro. But how it's insane
it really
what's down there, eh? But yeah, these guys are oh yeah. Talon's telling you to get closer to the mic.
Oh.
Force, yeah, look at that shit, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But better? Yeah, I could see, that's you. I could see you doing that.
I know.
Have you ever been any, like, reef fishing or done any of that?
No. Honestly, no. It looks so, I mean, that's just insane, though.
It's crazy, eh? And it's just, like, everywhere there. Yeah, probably turn it down, Talon. Yeah, I feel like you could be like YouTube fisher dude.
For sure.
Just take the audience that you got from moto. There's a ton of moto fans that just jump along and be 35 and just chilling. Got the hot chick and just.
They probably wouldn't talk so much shit either compared to motocross. So
oh, dude,
be a lot better.
Right? Yeah, I found that out last week. Good times though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy's just. Have you ever seen have you watched much of his stuff?
No, not really. I've seen it, but I mean, he's similar. Like Black Tip H is another one that's really popular, and it's just chaos. Like how much? I mean, it's their energy though on their YouTube is like unmatched.
Yeah. That's what even when we try and do the vlogs and stuff, I'm just like I just can't get up like that. I just don't. I'm just not. I don't know. I just don't know if I have that.
I don't know either. I'm pretty laid back. I'd just be like the person that I don't know if I would say much in the video. Like I would just be fishing. If you want to just see some raw content of me catching fish, then it would be good. But I'm not gonna be like the overly excited fisherman. Like I don't, as far as like when I catch a big fish or something, like I don't really freak out like some people do. I don't know. It's weird.
No, I think it's cool about you though. Like your personality, like even whether you win, whether first, second,
Yeah,
third.
it even shows on a dirt bike too.
Yeah,
I
like,
feel like
you're
I'm
just
not
not-
like some. Yeah, I don't know.
What do you reckon that is? Just you? You ever thought about it?
Yeah, it's just my personality. But I mean, if you know my dad, I mean, it's spot on. Like my dad is
he's
so
a lot
laid
like
back.
that.
Yeah.
What did your dad do for like a living?
He's an electrician. So
Yeah, there you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's like the people everyone talks about, like Dazzy and like the Lawrences. And
Yeah.
This is like Dazzy is literally just an Australian tradesman.
really,
Like that's and your dad's an electrician.
yeah,
Like there's something about the guy that like doesn't go to college and business, and it's just that learns on the job. Does the
that's how my dad was. I
apprenticeship.
think he went to college for like 4 months or something. I don't even remember. But and same with my mom. Like they just never. But yeah, he started a business and then my mom just quit her job and helped him out, and yeah, it was super successful. They sold it like 4 years ago just so that they could, or maybe it was like 3 years ago now too. I don't even know. But now they can just travel, and he still works because he made so many connections at home that he still does a lot of work. But like,
It's just
I mean-
he's doing his own thing.
yeah, and it's sick because like they have a camping sprinter, so they drove to Denver Supercross,
Yeah.
stayed in Colorado that week. My dad fly fished and then watched Salt Lake, drove home, and then they just drove to Paula in their camper. So now they're still on the road right now going to Hangtown. But like they're just living.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
But there is something about, so we call them tradesmen in Australia. So it's just a tradie, right?
Okay, yeah.
So there's just like this whole culture of like Aussie blokes
Yeah.
that are just tradesmen. And, my dad is one of them. He was a boilermaker, just like
Yeah.
a welder. And so it's like he never went to uni. He quit school in 10th grade, got a job, and like even it's funny, Talon, like being around us, we're like giving him that tradie treatment,
Yeah.
like first year apprentice. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're not going to tell you your mistake. We're just going to hang shit on you until you figure
Until
out
you
where
figure
you
it out,
fucked up. But it's like that produces such a cool, like if you can see that all the way to the end of the tunnel, and
Yeah.
you end up being an electrician that owns the business, like
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you're kind of just like a cool, cruisy mellow dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and most of the time pretty successful, I would say too. So
And where was where was your dad's like link into moto?
just kind of himself, honestly. Where he grew up is even closer to Washougal than where our house is now. So my grandparents' house was really close, and
How close we talking?
he would hop. Well, so I'll give you kind of a story. He bought a bike. He used to sell like he would, where people sell like cows and stuff at a fair and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
he would do that, and he was saving the money, and he bought a bike without my grandpa knowing, because my grandpa wasn't into it. And anyway, he bought one, and he could literally ride it from the house down to the track. And I'm pretty sure he crashed it like I don't even know, like the first time he rode it. I think it was like a KX80 or something like that. But anyway, he always loved it, but he'd have to sneak it, like, because my grandpa just, it's dangerous, and he never rode. So
Well, and there's no future in it, essentially,
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that kind of started that way, and I think eventually my grandpa was okay with it or whatever, and he would ride occasionally, and then he started racing, and he wasn't too bad. But he would just race locally, and then yeah, I mean, I have an older sister, and I guess when I think it was like 3, he bought me a bike, and I started riding then, and we rode together a lot. Like that was kind of, as far as my extent of riding goes, like I would race a little bit, but for the most part, it was like ride down the road to our neighbor's track, and he would ride and I would ride. And then I remember there was like this Dragon's back, and I'll never forget, he got like, he was on a 450, and he was still pretty decent at the time, but I don't even know what happened, but he ended up hitting a tree, and he messed his hip all up. And like after that, he didn't really ride much.
As soon as you said Dragonback, I just knew that there was a bad story coming.
Yeah.
There
No,
was
it was
something about to go down.
It was bad. So, yeah, he hung the boots up. Now he just rides like dual sports and stuff. If I go home, I'll rip around with him.
Yeah, do you ever get into any dual sport stuff?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was like, I'd say it'd be 50-50. Like I would either go ride or I would just hop on a bike and go like out my backyard. And there's like so many trail systems behind my house. So
Is it all like state forest?
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But I would just, go rip wherever. Now it sucks because it's like, as I get older, I even going home, for Washougal National, like I go try to check out all the trails I used to ride and they're all, closed or it sucks. But, yeah, I did a lot of that growing up and, I love ripping dual sports. Honestly, I would always throw a fly rod on and then just, go rip a dual sport and find a creek and fish normally.
Yeah, it's so sick. Like the freedom that I think that's like the thing. I think about it all the time, but it's like on the surface, you're giving a kid a dirt bike, and you're like, all right, buddy, go have fun. But it's like, think about being a kid and all of the shit that you can't do, and like all of the responsibilities that you don't have, and then you give a kid a bike, and you're like, bon voyage.
Yeah,
and that's like, for a lot of us, I feel like it's our first ever taste of like real freedom and real control, where you're like, holy shit, I'm the man.
Exactly.
Like I'm the boss. So like I'm either going to, if I crash, it's my fault, So it's like, and then if you tie in the fact that you actually have a place to go, like for us, we had, we lived in like a little community that was like on the edge of town basically. And then after that, it was all cane farms and mountains and rivers. And then it went to the ocean. So like we were literally like probably 5 houses from just the edge.
Yeah.
And all we did was just ride bikes and, find new places to go. And it's like crazy, crazy level of freedom that you can give to a kid. And it's like, I always would think why I was so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
But it's like when you look at it through that lens, it kind of like makes sense how you can get obsessed with something like that as a kid.
Oh, for sure. Because you can just, there's so much more. I feel like if you're just at least somewhat good on a dirt bike, like, yeah, it gives you so much freedom to do whatever you want. I mean, I remember a dirt bike was my way of transportation to anything. Like I had buddies that lived down the road and I grew up in the country. So it was like, I'd get home from school and be like, all right, Mom, like I'm hopping on the 110. I'm ripping over to my buddy's house. And, or as I got older, like, all right, I'm hopping on a dual sport. I'm going to go find somewhere to fish. And, yeah, it was fun. And especially like what I miss the most, I'd say about before, I guess taking it more serious was like loading up the van and going and riding like local, like backyard tracks, like some of my buddies' tracks.
Yeah.
Man, it was so fun. Like you and the boys would meet up and like be like 5 or 6 of you, but you'd go hit these sketchy ass. We would build some shit with tractors, like
ever. Yeah.
Dude. Thinking back now, I don't know how I didn't get hurt more doing some of the stupid, like, just terribly built jumps that we would make. But yeah, that was some fun times for sure.
Oh, dude, yeah, we had a friend of ours, Luke Weaver. He still rips. Like he could have been as good at he could have been a factory rider in Australia. He's like, you got like you remember Todd Waters? Remember that name?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Todd Waters and him,
Mm-hmm.
neck and neck their entire life,
damn.
Racing, right? From at 65, 85, like at a club day, those two would battle, and then Todd would go off and win Australian championships and sign factory deals, and Luke stayed in Marillion on his farm, and he had like a pawpaw farm, so he had cane. The big things where we lived was sugar cane, and then you'd have like pawpaws, bananas, all that shit, right?
Okay, yeah.
And it was just this like black sand dirt. And
Perfect, probably.
Oh, but the worst for jumps.
Yeah.
And
just blow apart.
Dude, and he used to build, and he just had like a little backhoe with just like a fucking slasher on the back of it. So it'd mow the farm and like move some shit out of the way. And dude, he'd build like these full blown Supercross tracks with this fucking thing. And we'd rock up, and I would just be like, bro, I'm just gonna die. Like if I try and ride this thing at all, and that would hit like 25 ruts, foot peg deep,
Just
holes
send it.
and he could fully hit every single thing on that track at all times. I was just like, bro, like you have local knowledge.
Yeah, for sure.
for those backyard tracks.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better.
And that's basically Carson Brown just never graduated.
Yeah, Carson, man, that dude deserves some respect because I'll never forget. Like, I don't remember what year this was, but I had been racing a little bit, and he showed up, and I was just like, his bike was sweet or whatever. He had some decent gear, but to me, he was like, I feel bad, but he was a bit of a goon. Like, I remember, this is no joke, Washougal, like local races, I was lapping him in the super mini class.
Really?
Yeah, or maybe it was 85s. I remember lapping him like 2 weekends in a row, and seriously, a year later from that day, I was battling with him to win. Like, it was insane. And then, a year goes on, and he's at Loretta's on a 125, and remember, I think he beat Swole maybe that year. I don't remember who he was battling with. Maybe it was Drake. I don't know, but pretty impressive. Like, he really, he started ripping, and I think it's cool what he does now too. It's
Dude,
pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Right? It's funny. There's always like anytime anyone gets a Red Bull helmet, like you remember the sorry, yeah, there you go. You remember like Berriman gets a Red Bull helmet.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh, Berriman doesn't deserve a Red Bull helmet, or like, why would they give him one? And then like 2 weeks later, there's that Farm Jam clip of him just doing like this oppo that was like the gnarliest thing anyone's ever seen to that point. And then Carson got the exact same treatment.
Yeah,
everyone being like, well, fuck, did he get a Red Bull helmet? Dude has just crushed some of the dopest content over the last 12 months doing that whole deal.
Yeah, he kills it. It's pretty sick.
Straight up beat Ryan Villapoto on a whatever. Did you watch that video?
I don't think I did.
You didn't see that? Pull that up. Like,
is it at
I think it was at Cheney Ranch.
Cheney Ranch.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it yet, but my old mechanic was there helping Carson. So
yeah, he just goes like, that's no joke, bro. Like Ryan Villapoto fucking rips. I don't care what bike it's on. So like the fact that he, like he's doing some really, really cool shit. And it's just sick to see that, you get a Red Bull helmet and then that comes with it basically like a platform essentially.
Yeah.
But he's like actually really made it happen. I think go scroll down. How many views has this thing got?
Such a great kid too. Like,
so 186,000 views on YouTube. That's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Look at the bike they're on, dude. The thing sounds like.
Oh, this is one of those. Yeah, I love these where it's a lap time thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember they did one at Sandbox with him and Kenny, and Kenny got him.
Yeah. Like and he fully rips it too.
Oh,
like both of them do. And I don't think that there's like crazy much that goes into this in terms of prep,
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, he can throw a leg pretty much over anything and rip.
And then I think just barely making stuff,
anything.
Dude.
What I can't imagine is riding Supercross on one of those, dude. Like, it is unreal.
Back in the day, well, think about like just how much it's here. Propos is that. I mean, you think about just like how much it's changed that whole sport, even from like 2000, you know. But yeah, the fact that they go out and can just like that's a very stock, old. It's like, and they just send it, dude.
Yeah, and I think it's funny how like we're always trying to compare tracks nowadays, and everybody's like, hey, the tracks used to be different or whatever. Like, I don't necessarily think that you can really make them the way they used to, because I mean, when you watch the old 125s and stuff, like you're seeing that kind of racing because the bikes were so slow. Everything was just slowed down. Now we are going so fast. I don't think you could slow us down. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care how.
What are you gonna put there?
Yeah, like we would try to do. You just get more people hurt. Like, I mean, if they tried to make it more jumpy or make everything steeper or whatever, like you're gonna have some ragdolls. I think because we're still gonna try to go just as fast. Like, there's no.
Well, and the bikes are so capable.
That's the thing. They're too fast now. Is basically what's happening, I think.
And even not even just speed, but like if you think about like what you can get away with. Yeah. Just to frame something.
Yeah.
And just be like, just keep rolling. You know, like even just Like I got a couple of old two strokes. I got a 2003 YZ250 and I got a 96 CR250. Both of those bikes, bro, you kickstart the bike and you can literally feel where the frame and the swing arm flexes. Like the middle of the bike.
Yeah.
Like there's just you just can't even carry the speed, through bumps and turns. And like I was watching at Parlour, like I got to be down on the track and just like seeing you and Haiden coming into some of those turns and just slamming into ruts.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's a lot, dude,
Or the bumps, like just you're wide open over braking bumps. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy now just how good dirt bikes are. And it's like, I mean, they're only going to get better, like they have to, but like for me, I don't see how it can get better. Like literally my Cowie this year, I'm like, this is the sickest thing ever. I don't understand. Like, where do you go from here?
Yeah, yeah. What do you tell somebody?
Yeah.
Bones comes to you. What should I do, Levi?
Yeah.
Fucking
Unless this thing starts hovering and it doesn't even touch the ground, like I don't see how it's gonna get any better.
Man, I definitely had that thought watching you ride on Saturday. I was like, that's a really good motorcycle. Like the way that it looks and it works for you, which is pretty wild because that was the first outdoor race that you did on that bike.
Yeah, for sure. I was pretty mind blown myself, honestly. And, I think like we talked after the race, me and Bones and all the suspension guys, crews and stuff. And, I think there's some stuff we can even do. And it's kind of fun comparing. Like I watched the race back and I would watch Hayden's bike pretty close. And he sets his bike up quite a bit stiffer than me.
Yeah.
So he kind of has that gnarly, like,
charge.
Kind of hangs it out.
Yeah.
But where I like my bike, like also watching is, I mean, I'll probably get shit for saying that I was riding at 90%, and I'm not saying I was, but like that's kind of just my style.
Yeah.
My bike is good for like that patient kind of cruising style where I feel like I could set my bike up to be like super sendy, but I don't like doing it because
then you've got to send it.
Exactly. And as soon as I have to, back it down just a little bit because as we get into these races going East Coast, like it's going to be 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And, to put 235s completely wide, like on that level of, I mean, you're just asking for disaster. So like you need a bike that's going to work for both. And I feel like my bike's in a pretty good spot for that.
Yeah.
Where I'll be really curious to see like, somebody like Haiden, his bike is set up to send it. And at Paula, we could send it the whole moto. Like we were just going at it.
Yeah, but the temperature was beautiful.
That's what
it was
I'm saying.
An amazing day out.
Like I'd be curious to see how his bike handles when he has to back it down 5%.
Yeah.
Because for me, like if I don't have a bike that handles it all like that, I mean it's hard to.
It's gonna be a long day.
Yeah. So I've been testing like with that quite a bit, but I don't know. I've got some ideas for the bike, heading into next weekend and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think Jet is very deceiving, right? Because when you watch Jet ride, you think that he's so smooth and he's so like he doesn't even try, but it's like, yeah, well, he's riding at 80%.
Yeah.
And that's the fact. Like
Yeah.
there's only ever like I can tell in his body language that so James used to do crazy laps till the flag.
Yeah.
And he'd try and get a minute lead. So he always looked like James Stewart, right? And then you go, oh, Jet doesn't look like that. Well, he does for like 3 turns. You just got to be looking at him when he does it, right?
Yeah.
It's the same as Supercross on a quali lap, or it's the same like Moto 2 at Parlour on the weekend. There was like 4 turns when Sexton got close and Jet just lit it the up, and you could just see a completely different dude for like 4 straightaways.
Yeah.
And then it's gone again.
Yeah.
So and I think that there's a lot of that goes on as well with Jet and bike setup is they're really setting up a bike that's like
good for everything.
Yeah, and he can just ride at 80% and it's comfy, and it's like other guys I just don't think have that luxury, And I think you've built the kind of riding style that plays into that,
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying. I mean, you're exactly right about Jet. And I even think I would like to think that you don't see 100% of Chase and Hunter either, or like any of these guys. I'm starting to learn, the more you watch, like for those who think that you're going 100% the whole time, you're crazy. You're just like, I don't know. And now looking back at other racers, RV was a master. He's the same as Jet. He would manage, a 3-second gap, 4-second gap. And yeah, I think you could see Jet go out there and try to win by 15, 20 seconds.
Oh, he could win by minutes if he want. If he really hammered down. I think.
But you also then, I think you would see maybe some of those mistakes that he made when he was a younger kid where you're 100%. I mean, because it's just a matter of time before it bites you in the ass.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting how it's like, you learn each other and it's all tactic. It's pretty wild, honestly.
Well, and I mean, I love that about the sport.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of, I said a couple of times, like I think it got lost at times because it was always just like the fastest guy won.
Yeah.
And then everyone was just, all they wanted to do was be the fastest guy.
Yeah.
And then if they weren't the fastest guy, then, I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
But then, you got a Cooper Webb who's literally never the fastest guy.
Yeah.
Like once, twice, 3 times in his entire career, has 2 championships.
Yeah.
It's like there's something else that can happen here. Like it's kind of, you don't always have to be like that faster guy,
No, for sure. I listened to the interview you did with my trainer Peter.
Oh,
and
I kind of went off a bit there.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, just how there's different mentalities and, will there ever be a perfect, like, person that has all that? I mean, maybe we're seeing it with Jet. I don't know, but yeah, it's pretty crazy just how everybody has their upper hand. Everybody has their advantage, and yeah, you've either got the Bulldogs like RC, or you got these like the new up and coming type of riding style that we're seeing more of, and I think more people are trying to be like that, obviously, and it's pretty cool to see. I mean, I'm trying to be like that. Like I've always looked. It was more for me, Chase, I would say, just because I was around him more. But like I'm always trying to, make my style look a little bit more like that and be a little bit more centered on the bike and everything. And yeah, it's pretty crazy to see how much has changed.
Yeah, and I think now too, you're starting to see a lot more investment in the time on a 250 for a 450. Like I think before it was so just like win at all costs in that class, and then you go into the 450 as like the guy you are, And I think Bosch is probably like an example of that, to where it's like he was fucking a beast on a 250, but it didn't translate.
Yeah.
And then you get into that, you're just on the treadmill, or like it's like the escalator at the airport.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're just on it. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like I'm here now.
Yeah.
So you don't really get a chance to like course correct. And I think your generation in particular, and Jet and Hunter, like, bro, Hunter's first race was a weekend on a 450 outdoors.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, that's so overshadowed by his brother.
I know.
Like, he literally beat Chase Sexton.
Yeah.
His first ever try.
Race. Exactly. And you're going to see, like, you're seeing more people with that proper technique now.
Yeah.
Joe's good. Chance is
crazy good.
Chance is good. I mean, the list goes on. Hayden's good. He's got his own way of it. It's different for sure. I like to think of myself kind of similar, and yeah, it's just you're just gonna see more people that move up to 450s.
Way more ready,
I think.
And with like that 450 riding style in mind, because like they're just so fast, dude.
Yeah,
they're so fucking fast.
Yeah, I honestly like. There's people that, you're always curious, like, what are they going to be like on a 450? And Haiden literally reminds me, like, I'm like, I feel like he'll be like Tomac on a 450. He's just going to be like, because they rev it. Like, they love to rev that thing. It's just cool to see the different kind of riding styles. Like, I think I'll be a little bit more mellow. I mean, I've raced 450s I raced them for like 2 years, so I've rode them for quite a bit.
Oh, in amateurs?
Yeah. So I feel like that's good for me. Like, I feel like I have a little bit of an advantage. And I even think I kind of saw it with like Justin Cooper. He was kind of on the same path as me, and he's pretty good on a 450. So
yeah, dude, he did great on the weekend.
Yeah. And I think you're only going to see him get better, honestly.
Yeah. So what you were on Star as a junior for your last 2
Kind of, yeah.
So-
I mean,
Were you Team Green and then Star?
no,
How did
I
it
was Blue Crew, I guess you could call
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but I was like supported from some like Thousand Oaks, you know that?
work? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they helped me out on 125s, and a bunch of people did. But anyway, then I went to Rock River, and then I got a Star deal. But yeah, the whole amateur transition for me was crazy because like I don't know if I've really said on podcasts, but like I was supposed to go to GEICO.
Oh.
Yeah, and then they were like getting a bike ready, and then it was after Loretta's in 2020, and then they called me and were like, it almost sounded fake, but they're like, hey, the team's folding. And I'm like, well, thank you for telling me before I just signed some paper. Because I had a 3-year deal lined up because Wyndham was helping me at the time, and he helped me out with that. So I was stoked on that because I was like, hopefully Mitch doesn't get mad. But that was like my dream team, dude. I loved Geico Honda. I don't know
What
why.
was it about that?
Dude,
K-Dub?
no, honestly, just like the bikes and like the gear setup, just everything about it seemed more, at that time, seemed more professional than any other team, in my opinion. I mean, you had, the other, KTM and all that, and like, I don't know, I just felt like Geico was just a sick looking team, and the bikes seemed good, and they handled well, and
Had you ever rode Hondas?
I rode Mumford's. I guess the team's folded, so I can't really get him in trouble. But yeah, we were out in the hills, and I hopped on his
Well,
bike.
you pushed him. He said, no, please don't take my bike. And you were like, fuck you, Carson. And then you rode it.
That's
So
how, we got in a fight.
Yeah,
so it really
so
wasn't his choice.
he didn't have anything to do with it.
no.
Yeah, that's all on you.
No, but I thought it was pretty good. They weren't the fastest thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That was like my dream team when I was just a kid. So yeah,
Dude,
they
you
folded.
think about how dope they were, though, like in terms of, I remember like Josh Grant, Napster, Samsung, Sobe.
I know,
No
Sobe,
Fear.
dude.
Like, come on.
Sobe was insane. I used to
Yeah.
love drinking those things. Dude.
I've never drunk one to this day.
Really?
Don't even know what they taste like. No.
Dude, the pink one it's unreal.
They
It's the best
never
thing.
made it to Australia.
Damn. And there was a white one, Pina Colada, was so good.
So you just wanted that Sobe deal.
Dude, well, I don't even think, was it even around then? No, there's no way. I wanted the DVS deal. That was in there.
Yes.
The shoes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a big Geico fan. Then they folded. And then I had Mini O's. It's a race in Florida. Have you heard of that Gatorback?
Yeah.
So then I had to call Rock River back, and I'm like, hey, I need my bike for Mini O's. So then I go to Mini O's, and I was able to beat, there was like some star guys there like LeBlanc and Thrasher at the time. So I beat them luckily, and then, yeah, Will Hahn at the time was working for Star, and he walked in the motorhome and was like, here's a letter of intent. I signed it.
So you had
then-
nothing because of the GEICO thing.
Yeah. But Star was weird. Like I went out to California like 2 different times and rode the bike, and I'm like waiting. I'm like, dude, where's my deal? I'm trying to get a hold of Will. So that was a weird thing, the Star deal. Like it took forever.
How long you talking?
Well, at Loretta's in 2020, they were talking to me already.
So that's like August.
Yeah. And then right after Loretta's, while I was in talks with GEICO, I went to California to ride the Star bike just because I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Was there for like two weeks riding with everybody on Swanee's program, everything. And then it was just like, all right, fly home. So I was like, okay, this is weird. And I'm expecting a call, and then still nothing. Like it took a long time. And then, yeah, finally around, what would that be? Well, Thanksgiving, end of November at Mini O's. Like, yeah, luckily I did good at Mini O's, or else I would have never gotten
Yeah,
a
they
ride.
might have just been waiting.
Yeah, they were. They just didn't trust. For a lot of people, it was because I raced stock at Loretta, so they didn't really buy into it. They were like, yeah, we think he's okay, but he raced stock. So no teams really bought into it, even though, there's like politics in racing. I wanted to race the mod class that year because I wanted to beat the Star guys on a Rock River bike really bad. But with the whole Yamaha thing, they wouldn't let me, so they made me race stock, and then Yeah, it was crazy.
And how serious were you taking it at this point? Because you said you didn't really take it like that serious.
By then, I was.
Okay.
So 19 is when I moved away from Washington.
Okay.
And I moved to Louisiana to train with, who's now my practice mechanic now. He's at every race with me, but his name's Rob, and it was real deal. So I started working with him in 19 in Louisiana. And
was that at K-Dubs or around K-Dub?
It was around K-Dubs at the time.
He's the man, eh?
Yeah, he's sick. Yeah. Yeah.
He is the man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's crazy.
He
wild.
legit.
Yeah. No, we've had some funny talks, but anyway. So yeah, I moved out there and I was so lost. I'm like, Rob has some funny stories of me. Like, I got out there and I think the first 3 weeks I was there, I only rode my dirt bike twice because the first day, ate shit, hit my head, take like a week off. I'll never forget too, because I get back on the bike. And if you would have saw me back then, like, can you pull up? Oh, he's out.
He'll be back in a sec.
All right. Well, have you seen me back in like 2018 or 19? What I looked like?
Maybe.
Dude.
I mean, I'm sure. We'll wait.
I was like 5'5" and a little bit chunky, and I had hair down to like my shoulders, dude. I was just.
You were on some grunge shit.
I was.
You were still in Washington.
I was a loose cannon, dude. So I get back on the bike, I crash again, and I guess Rob called my parents and was like, "Hey, I think we need to think of something else. Like, I don't think this is gonna work out." Like, he literally called my parents and was like, "This kid is." I had some speed, but I was just loose, and finally kept it on two wheels for a few months. Got a call from Rock River to ride a 125. Went back to a 125. And at the time, I was like people now would think I was insane because I rode a 125 at like 18 years old. Like, I was way old for a 125.
So you were just like late to the party across the board.
Across the board, I was late. And
can you pull up a photo of Levi in 2018? Where would we find that?
Look up Loretta Lynn's 2018
Levi Kitchen.
See if there's a photo of me. It's priceless, dude. It is.
What were you on? Like, what was your deal?
I was just a kid that...
You just had no idea.
No, I had long hair. I looked like a chick, and I was at the skate park more than I was at the dirt bike track. Way more. And fly fishing.
Go to images. Let's see if we can find something.
See, that's 2020.
Yeah, see, there's all this shit from when you're a star.
Yeah, that's Rock River. Gosh, dude, it's got to be something.
Oh, is that you down the bottom there?
Yeah, there you go.
Pull him up.
Because I was on Fox for years. But that's like...
No way.
That's 2016.
That's fucking...
But you could tell I'm a little bit chunky. Like, dude, I didn't train or anything.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah, so...
So did you think you were going to be a professional motocross rider? Like, did you just not... Like, you just didn't give it, like, that much thought?
No, I wanted to, but it was like... And I'm glad I listened to the people around me because, like, my uncle and, like, so many people were like, dude, you have the tools. Like, I could see on a dirt bike, like, you can do it. Like, whatever. And I would just rather go ride my bicycle and go fishing. And, yeah, so. Like, I remember I never rode a road bike until I got to Star. Like, I had never done. Oh, it was funny. I did some gym stuff in Louisiana and stuff, but, yeah, I was like, no, I've never rode a road bike. And they're all like, what? I was like, yeah. So,
how far were you behind the 8 ball when it came to like the training side of it, do you think? Or like athletically, you were pretty sweet?
I would say it just depends. Everybody does their own things. Like, when I got to Swanee's program, I mean, he probably would say otherwise. Like, there was definitely things I was struggling at, but I'd never done them. But I'm the type of person, like, I feel like there you go. That's
unhinged. I love that.
Yeah, like, you could tell the hair's pretty long in that. And I'm just got a baby face. So.
Yeah, legit, like baby fat.
Yeah, that was Rock River. And that was actually when I was starting to thin up, and I started training then. But
that's insane.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, you're at Star, and it's like the first time riding road bikes, just first time dealing with any of that.
Yeah, and I was so weak. Like, it was cardio wise, I was pretty fit, pretty decent. But strength wise, I just didn't really do much strength, and And yeah, even at Star, it's not a ton of, it's a different kind of strength stuff. And like, so then when I went to Peter, it was almost like restarting again, because with
Yeah, I
him,
bet.
I still was kind of weak in a way, with certain stuff. So, but-
Yeah, and I think any time that you first start doing foundation training, you're weak.
oh yeah,
Like it just doesn't. Even if you're strong, you're
yeah.
weak.
Like my
at
buddy,
that.
like people that start doing it, they're like, dude, how do you take care of your back hurting so bad? Like, even though it's supposed to help your back, like if you're not
Oh,
doing it
fuck,
perfect, dude,
bro.
your lower back is shot when
Yeah.
you're doing it. So
Yeah. And for the first couple weeks, like those positions and stuff,
Yeah.
it just like I think it's designed to like fry your back. I'm
Yeah.
still not. I'm kind of waiting.
yeah,
I'm still waiting to get to the point where it's like
not yeah.
not like crazy gnarly, but like yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's such a specific way to like load your body
Mhm.
that yeah, like it's just such a unique movement. It's
Yeah.
always gonna hurt when you first start it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it definitely gets better though. Like it's gotten so much better. for me.
How long did it take for it to get better for you?
Couple months of consistently doing it, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. About the start of racing for me was when it, like Supercross this year was, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Did you see your technique naturally change because of it?
I didn't even think that that's what it was from, but then I had people like, I really think I look different on a bike. Like I do. And even watching like rewatching the race from the weekend and stuff, I definitely don't have that. Like I used to be really slouched forward.
Yeah.
you
And like
know,
back rolled
yeah,
and hunched.
big
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I think it's gotten better
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I still, when we were at the test track the other day, watching, I still think that you round your back a little bit in
yeah.
the whoops.
Yep, in the whoops.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And that's Chase gets on me all the time, and Ken, I try to get better at that. That's like a safety for me, though. And I'm trying to get away from it, but yeah, everywhere else on the track it's much better.
yeah.
But the whoops is definitely where
That's
I
the
round it.
when I were there and I was watching you ride,
Yeah.
and that everywhere else like flawless.
Yeah.
And then I saw it. Not, I mean, obviously you're fucking great at hitting whoops, but like when we're talking about that specific movement as it relates to foundation training, I was like, the whoops is like the one place where he's not doing it.
Yeah. And it's good up to my hips,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Like legs are fine, but yeah, I roll my back in the whoops, and I think I don't know what it is. It's just habit. I got to
It'd
get
be
better.
mental, dude.
Yeah.
Like I think it'd be like a mental, like a fail safe, because dude, I've never hit Supercross whoops, bro.
Yeah.
Like it must be so fucking hectic to just be staring those things down.
Yeah.
And just like we had like a stadium track under lights when I was a kid, and it had a set of whoops that you'd skim.
Yeah.
So like I've skim whoops, but not Supercross whoops, dude.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine the commitment that it would take. But like I got friends that'll say like, once you know how to do it right, you can do it in any
For
set.
sure. And I think if there's kids listening to this, like I've been helping my buddy Hamden back in Crockett, and then in Florida when I'm at Sandbox, and I'm trying to get him to hit the whoops faster, obviously. And it's like I asked him this is like a month ago or whatever. I'm like, have you crashed yet in them? And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh. And it's like, it sucks to say, but you're gonna crash in them. Like I remember I got on Star, started hitting them, hurt my shoulder, was out for like 5 weeks. Got back, broke my hand. Got back, broke my scapula in them. Like, I mean, I was doing everything to learn, because I was like, I have to get good in these. Like it's everything in Supercross. I mean, you're seeing
Was Levi was
everything. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair actually.
You wasted all them bones, bro.
I know, I really did.
should just
I
waited
should've
like
just-
3
I
more
should have
years.
just been practicing jumping.
It's a whoops now is a rhythm section for 65s.
Yeah,
You should have just got a 65, built
I know.
yourself a rhythm section. You would have been
Yeah.
sweet.
I know. I'm like thinking back to the season. Actually, there was not really the only race that stands out to me where it was like noticeable, and Jordan Smith was ripping that night, was Glendale when he landed on me, or like we came together.
Yeah.
It's kind of my fault too. Those held up, and like it showed, because like you had guys that were good at skimming them, but me, RJ, and Jordan are all pretty good at skimming them. So, and then Salt Lake, dude, I was doing everything because like that was a hard race for me seeing RJ the whole time.
Yeah.
And everybody was jumping, and I was pretty proud of myself because I was sending them
just
the
stayed
whole
committed.
main. I was like, dude, if I'm gonna make up any time, it's gonna be trying to skim these things. But it was pissing me off because I was like sending them, and I would
And you don't
maybe
get rewarded.
no, I would maybe make up a 10th, like 2 tenths at best, and it was just like so frustrating. But
Yeah, but that so to get back to where we started on that, like there's a process that real legit Supercross racers go through of fucking cartwheeling through whoops for years until they get a dot. Like even Cameron, when he was doing the podcast, he said the same thing. He's like, bro, I spent years breaking myself off so that I could be a guy that could do Supercross, and now that's gone.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, and it sucks. It kind of does, actually. The more I think about it, like, it didn't bother me because I feel like I'm good at jumping whoops too, but not saying I want to see these rookies coming up and see them get hurt. I don't. But it's a skill that you have to have, and I feel like it separates, like, big time. Like, if you learn how to hit those things, and I see it with, like, watching the futures this year compared to last year. Like last year's whoops were gnarlier. So a name, for example, like Bo Mare, I was impressed. He was riding a Yamaha, I think, last year.
Yep.
But dude, I was like, I would watch the futures and like he was sending the whoops. It was pretty sick to see, and he would do them pretty good. I'm sure he would crash in them just like all of us. But then you go to the futures this year, and it's like, you know, I don't know how great Drew or Towers, like those guys, are in the whoops, but you'll never know. I mean, you just jumped them. So it's like that skill is kind of it's kind of gone for the moment, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I think back to, I think it was A2 2023.
When I won.
Maybe you did win.
Yeah,
was it this the gnarliest set of whoops in the world?
Oh no! You're thinking when Craig won.
Maybe it was 22.
Lawrence crashed in him.
Yep.
Hunter.
Everyone crashed in it. Like that, to me, that was brutal, right?
Yeah. And that was almost too much because if you watched Christian compared to the rest of the dudes, oh my, like, and Christian's the man. Like, I'm buddies with him, and you know, it's good that Supercross was still normal then because, like, dude, it was sick for him because he could. He
literally do.
He would even
else.
tell me, he's like, dude, I would literally ride at like 70%, and then I would just skim the whoops, ride at 70%, skim the whoops, and it was insane.
And he won a championship.
Yeah. No, it's.
But that I remember that night. I think we did like a Supercross companion in Australia where we're all in the studio and we just watch the race on TV and we talk over it. And I just remember being like, "What? This is the fucking gnarliest shit ever!" Like that was probably too much. But there was, I think Anderson won that night.
Mm-hmm.
And Tomac got second.
And Anderson was good in the whoops.
Bro, there was 5 What year was that? Let's just pull it
2022.
2022 A2 450 main event.
Yeah, A2.
There's like 5. Just put the audio like real low.
You talking the 5 laps in a row where he gets sketchy?
There's 5 laps. It's like 5 laps at the start of the race where both him and Tomac are skimming them.
Oh, yeah.
And Ando is loose, bro.
Yeah.
And he just goes, that race right there, this is why I love that race. There was 2 dudes that fucking grabbed their nuts.
Yeah.
And they threw their nuts along with them through that whoop section. And then Eli Tomac went, you know what? I'm done.
You can have it.
Yeah. You have it. And then Ando coasted to the win. And it was all made in that section on those 5 laps. And it was basically it was a game of chicken. Yeah. So who's going to back out of that
And
first.
I would be so curious, like, just fast forward and, like, put me, RJ, like, our class this year out there. It would have just been, I mean, it would have been cool to see, like, who
would have been.
I know RJ would have sent it through them things.
So is that just highlights from that race? Yeah.
I know him and Smitty and myself would have been doing our damn best to skim those things.
Round 6.
Yeah, this is it.
Is this it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there they are, right? They go to the 450 class.
It's when Shimoda ate
Yeah,
right
dude,
there.
Shimoda ate shit. Like, everyone ate shit. Yeah, there's Craig doing his thing. Look at those look at them. Dude, there's a pile up in the whoops.
Yep.
Oh, go forward to the 450s if you can.
Here's
No.
watch Craig through these real fast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
nuts.
That was a really sick year with him and Hunter, eh?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Craig was so. Who's that? That's
Swole.
yeah.
And
That's
Nate.
right.
Nate's down too. Him and
Oh, dude.
it's in the back
Yeah,
left
yeah, in the
there,
background there.
Nate
How-
gets screwed.
Yeah. How many whoops were in that section? Like probably 13.
Yeah, probably 12 or 13 maybe.
Can we? Yeah. Then Hunter crashes in him.
And then Mosey.
Uh,
Dude,
yeah,
everybody.
What was it about him?
You can't ask. I wasn't riding, but
Yeah, you weren't
they were
there, eh?
big. And Anaheim's got that slick kind of. You almost can't see the edges at Anaheim, I feel like. So
Yeah, with like the dirt and the
the
lighting
dirt and the
the-
lighting is.
Well, the thing, just fast forward to the main there, brother. It'll be at the end because it's the last race of the night.
Here we go.
Here we go. So you got these two freaks out front, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Here we go. First,
Send
they
it.
look violent, bro.
Dude, they're huge.
Oh, so this was basically a 5-lap whoop shootout.
And
to
then
see-
whoever basically.
just to see who had. Is this them going? Nah.
It was such a sick race.
It was so insanely sick. And here it goes. Is this the section now?
Oh no.
No.
It's so weird looking back just 2 years ago.
I
Like,
know.
the riders. I'm like, who is that? And
It
then
feels like a lot has changed.
I know.
Oh, then, yeah, I guess they're just not going to show it.
Here they are.
Another one. Dart, dart, dart.
They're so big though.
Yeah,
And Ando was on it that year.
I know, right?
I think he won more races than, or
He won like 5 or 6 races that year, I think.
yeah, in
Plenty
years-
enough to win the
yes,
title.
exactly. In years past, it's been done a lot with that many.
Go
races.
back. I want to count these whoops. Go back, Tom. Right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's
It's
probably 13.
12 or 13.
12, yeah. But so I guess like just to that point, like that one race in particular was just like the two dudes in the top class on the biggest bikes with the biggest whoops. And it was a legitimate showdown between who was going to back out first. And
Yeah.
Eli just said, I ain't that guy tonight.
Yeah.
And then Ando got the win.
Yeah.
And like that is sick.
It is. And not if it, we don't need that every race, obviously.
No,
but
I agree.
we need 1 or 2 of those, Like, I thought I study more as a racer than maybe other racers do. But, I was watching, what was one of the later East Coast? Was it
You had like
Oh,
Birmingham.
That
you
wasn't
had,
Birmingham.
Like Nashville,
Philly?
Philly.
Philly was the big set into the left, right?
Go play Philly highlights.
Where Pierce crashed on the finish line was Philly, I think.
Yes. I think
So,
so.
like that race, for example, I remember Cameron was pissed because he was hurt. But those were more of what if they want to stick to 9 whoops, it's still kind of a bummer. But these ones were
If they want to stick to 9 whoops, still don't. But
yeah, but this was more of a legit set, like size wise.
Yeah.
And it was pretty insane to see that. I think it was Anstey or something was a full. I think he was like a full second or something insane
faster
in the
through
segment.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I really wish that we could do in Supercross as well is like have some real legitimate splits.
Yeah.
Like give us section times. Like I want to know exactly how fast Jet is from the moment his front tire touches the first whoop,
yeah.
to the moment his back tire touches. Like give me that shit down to the 1,000th of a second.
Yeah.
Because for guys like you that want to know and that do study,
Yeah.
it tells
Yeah.
it tells a story,
When it tells us we go into the week, all right, now I know what I need to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just data, right?
Yeah. Where were they at?
I think they're at the end of the lap, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is it before? It was like before the finish?
Hopefully this is even the right track. I think it is.
Fast forward a little bit, Tom. Keep going. Not too far because we'll miss the whoops.
No, wait. Yeah, this is it.
All right.
This is the track. I mean, I wasn't obviously racing, but I could just tell by watching.
Yeah.
Here they're on the top. Yeah, watch these two.
Yeah. The problem,
the flat turn wasn't a great idea afterwards.
It ain't it?
Because that's like Nashville.
Yeah.
Those were bigger, like those were going to be better skimmers, but you had a flat turn. So it's like, of course you're going to jump.
So what's the difference there for people that don't know?
The flat turn after.
Yeah. Like, why does that change it for you?
Because, I mean, here on the screen, like you're not gonna skim and go all the way to the outside
You're
of a
going to
flat
be carrying
turn.
too much momentum.
Yeah,
and
you're
leaving the door open. On
exactly.
The inside. Yeah.
Exactly. And you're not gonna. I mean, you're not really gonna rip that outside without a berm there. So
yeah. Rip that outside flat turn.
yeah. So when you have the bull turn after a set of whoops, it forces you to have to skim because, I mean, that's going to be the faster way. You're going to skim, rip the top of the bull turn afterwards, where when it's a flat turn, like Nashville, Denver was another one.
Yeah.
I mean, me and Joe were going inside, double through a set of whoops inside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, RJ's sending it going outside skim, and he's doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like it didn't. Like, yeah, he was good in the whoops, but
it didn't reward
not at all
the harder thing.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's probably like just that right there. Like Supercross should reward the harder thing.
Yeah.
Like if you're to skim the whoops is way harder than jumping the whoops.
Yeah.
To jump a quad is way harder than jumping a triple. So it's like you should get rewarded for doing the more technical thing. And then it seems like now we're in Supercross this year, you guys were rewarded for doing the easy option.
Yeah.
And then I think, like keep the whoops how they are, but just like make it 11.
Yeah.
So then you can't go.
It throws off the rhythm.
Yeah. There's something that you've got to do different. Or even if it's 10, you could probably quad, like really.
Honestly, 10 though, it would change some stuff because
singling out of a set of whoops sucks.
It does. And it would force somebody, like if you wanted to jump them and you had balls, then you're going to like wheel tap 4, like you're going to have to.
Then you get rewarded for doing something
gnarly.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
And we've fully lost that this year.
Yeah. Yeah, because honestly, I mean, you can pretty much anybody can jump. Like anybody can go 3-3-3 through a set of whoops, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not very hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and
But
you guys are the best, supposed to be the best dudes in the world.
Yeah.
While we're talking about the tracks, how do you feel about just never having a bowl turn that doesn't have a 3-foot rut in it?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You can't really do the whole square up stuff. You can't shoot across it to hit somebody or, that's tough. I don't know. Like, I like the ruts in the turns.
Seattle.
And I guess I could say I like the ruts in the transitions too, because I did well when it was rutted, but it did get a little bit, it got kind of old, like with how, but then again, we can't really sit there and point fingers at Dirtworks because like the weather that we had this year was insane.
Yeah.
I do think that new thing that they have where they like doing that little tiller, I think it's a bit weird that they're tilling the rhythm sections, because it's giving it just enough, like it's a little bit, but it's giving it enough to get those ruts, and I just don't think that they really need to be there, especially in the rhythms, in my opinion, because it doesn't allow, like I feel like Salt Lake was a little bit better. There wasn't as many ruts in the transitions, but you can't move either.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you want to start the rhythm on the right and try to move over to block your inside, like if somebody starts that rhythm on the left,
that's where you're ending up.
Yeah, and they're probably going to pass you on the left.
Yeah.
Like not saying that you want to see more cross jumping, but like you can't.
No, but you want to be able to move.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think like even I think they did a good job of parlor this weekend.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
But like last year's parlor, bro, and that's actually why I brought up the scoop tire thing, because I watched that and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
Like all Jet has to do, is get a hole shot
and stay in that line.
and stay on the inside.
Yeah.
Because it's so rutted and it's so gnarly, you can't carry any more momentum
No.
through. There's a limit of how fast you can go through this turn, and you have to go a way longer way around, which equals no fucking passing.
Yeah.
And it just seems like the most simple equation, and we're like really starting to see that in Supercross as well, you know, and it's like you just don't have the freedom to move, and then you get into these bowl turns, and it's just like you've just got to get in one of those ruts, and it just doesn't feel like there's as much creativity. It doesn't feel like there's as much like flow to the racing, and I think even the statistics around like the start in terms of like the finishing average, like who wins based off what, and it's just, you know,
it's a start now.
It's start across, you know,
Yeah.
which
It really
is we don't know if we need that
Yeah.
as much, you know.
I know. And it's hard to decide whether is it the tracks,
Is it the bikes?
is it the bikes, is it also the fact that there really is 10 people that can win if they just get out front?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Yeah, it's hard to say, but at the same time, you know, it's hard to pass. Like no matter what, when it's rutted like that and it's a slot car track, it's pretty tough to make moves. I would say, just because you're kind of stuck where you're at, and it's really a game of waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
Yeah.
If you start in 8th and those guys don't make any mistakes, you're kind of screwed. You're
Yeah.
not really going to move up much.
Yeah, and I think like Joe is a great example, right?
Yeah.
Like the dude figured out his starts at the end of the year was a threat.
Yeah.
No starts, no
Wasn't.
Joe.
Yeah.
And you know, you're missing a dude that can challenge
Yeah.
for races and race wins, and you know, like even Salt Lake, like where you started that race is like kind of where you finished almost.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That there's just you've got no chance of moving forward.
Yeah.
And no matter what you did, even doing the harder thing of skimming the
Like I firmly
Sorry, bro.
believe, like Salt Lake, if and I'm not saying this would have changed the outcome, but because the guys I was racing were good in whoops too, RJ and whatever. But like, had that been a bigger set of whoops that we weren't jumping, I don't know if I would have caught RJ, but I probably would have got around Jalik maybe earlier, and possibly, you know, some of the other guys earlier, like where I mean, I was trying my ass off to I couldn't make anything really happen. So and if you go look at the times of that race, I think like the top 5 all literally did the same lap time. Like
Yeah, I got
Seriously.
there and I was like, oh, well, this sucks. As soon as I saw the track, there was flat turn,
yeah,
flat straightaway, flat straightaway. Then there was another long ass flat straightaway into the flat turn, which I actually liked the turn before that rhythm.
yeah.
But it
yeah,
was
yeah.
just like so much space of that Supercross track. There was no Supercross on it.
yeah.
And I was just like, this
One big rhythm,
one line that everyone was,
but it
everyone
was
doing
everybody did the same thing. Yeah.
And even in practice, the last 2 up ramps out of that rhythm section, fucked.
Oh yeah.
From practice.
Yeah.
Completely fucked. I was like, so that, you know, when you were saying before, like, is it the bikes? Is it it's like, well, I don't know if it's the bikes, because in like 5 laps
Yeah.
of the first practice, it's that.
Yeah.
So to me, that seems a little bit like the prep. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I wish there was just like more transparency.
Yeah.
Because it's like, have you ever spoke to the Dirtworks guys about it?
No, honestly, I haven't.
You're like one of the top dudes in the sport.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
But there's no link. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like there really isn't that much communicate. You guys kind of just get there and kind of
Yeah.
get what you're given
Yeah.
almost, you know?
Yeah. I think it would be cool if like just you kind of get the feel for like every race has its own unique kind of feel to it, but I wish it was more like, you know, you kind of knew you were getting into. Like I would say Glendale's a consistent one. It's
Yep.
covered.
Yep.
It's always hard pack, and like that's cool. But I think that's what the big change that would have to happen is riding in more covered stadiums though, because
Yeah.
you know, like I don't know what's a good example. San Diego, like that dirt was actually really good, and I think it would have been more of a hard pack track.
Yeah.
But it got rained on.
Yeah.
San Francisco would have been a gnarly, sick, rutted track. Like, whether it rained or not, I think it was a softer track. So you'd have these different, like, you would know what you're going to get into. Seattle's always soft. Even if it was covered, it would be soft. And then it would play to certain riders on certain tracks, which I think is cool.
Yeah.
And we really only got to see that one race. And, like, that was Glendale. It showed who was better on hardpack. And then the rest of them pretty much, besides Denver, were all pretty much rut cross, I would say, for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. There's one thing I've learned doing this is that there's always a reason.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like, someone always, like, they're doing literally their best job.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like there's some dude.
No, and
like,
like Dirtworks, man. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to think that I don't want them to think they crushed it. I mean, for them to even get the track rideable half the time was insane.
I was going to say, the fact that you guys got to do all of the races this year is incredible.
It is.
But that's not to say that
get us some covered stadiums is what it's really the.
But even Arlington, dude, was crazy, right?
Yeah, true.
That was
Indy's covered too, right?
Yeah, that was the one.
And that was
Arlington was the one where I was like, "Oi, what's going on? We got a fucking roof." Like, and I hadn't said anything to that point, and I'm like, "It's a pretty big roof on this bitch."
Yeah. even
it's like crazy, right?
St. Louis was pretty damn rutted. I was surprised by that. Actually, by race time, it probably didn't look as bad, but I remember press day. I was like, "Holy shit, what have I got myself into here?" I mean, I liked it because it was kind of like Seattle, but yeah, it's pretty wild how rutted they're becoming.
Did you? There's one thing though where I don't want it to get to the point where it's like the people are like, "Yeah, look how gnarly it is," and they think like the gnarlier the better. Like, I don't think we should not get caught in that trap of like, yeah, we made this shit so gnarly. It's like, that's not what we're really chasing. Like, what we want is really good racing. And I think that there's an argument of like, well, we had the best season ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, we did. We had a lot of mud races. Yeah. We had, like there was a lot of stuff that went on. But I wouldn't say that because every track was fucking crazy rutted, that's the reason why we got the best season ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. The reason we got the best season ever is because everybody stayed healthy, which was sweet. But I don't know if that was because the tracks were rutted
and
or
slower.
Yeah, or if it was because there was 9 whoops. I mean, we'll never know, you know what I mean? And it kind of sucks because you don't want to see people get hurt, but you also want to see separation. I think more separation and yeah. Like, I don't know the last race I've seen somebody work from even 6th, 7th, and battle for the win at the end. Like, I think back to that race. What is it? Oh, man. It's like 14. I don't remember what race it is. Where Stu, it's like the last time
Toronto.
he won. Yeah, I wanted to say I didn't want to sound dumb.
Nah, yeah, Toronto.
But that
14.
was nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
but just pull that up. We watched it the other day a little bit on here, but we sort of didn't pay too much attention to it. I'd be interested to see, because that was like a sandy track. It was like kind of loamy in a sense, but like even still, yeah. So let's just go like to the middle of this main, or towards the end when it's like kind of Stewie's on there. Me and Dunge actually watched a bit of this the other day.
Really?
Because he was just like, bro, it was like ridiculous what he was doing.
I mean, yeah, he was on another level.
But like, so this would have been back then, this would have been considered to be like a very rutted, loose track, right?
Yes.
But even this
Look at that berm. There's
not one rut.
No, just that top.
So that Arlington would have been more rutted than this. That's three ruts on like the exit.
The exit,
of
but that's
the turn.
The big thing is the exit's just rutted. See, you could cut down there, you could go wide.
Yep. So this is as almost as hard pack as anything we got this year.
Yeah.
And this round itself, in those years past, look, James going 3 there.
Yeah.
Dunge was saying that he refused to go 3 there. He's like, I just couldn't do it.
So like, see, there's a couple ruts in the lanes, but for the most part,
nice big loam right there.
Yeah.
There's some ruts in that one. But this was literally like, I remember thinking this was a fucking sand Supercross back in the day. But like, look at that up ramp there, 500 whoops there.
And he's rewarded because he was skimming them. He was ripping them.
Go back. I want to see Dunge through there. Yeah.
And it's not like they have to build them big. Like, those aren't big whoops at all.
No, they're not. But yeah, so there's like some ruts on the exit.
Mm-hmm.
So this track like literally looks like it's made out of sand, dude.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, that's right. They had the big
He did that huge 3-3.
yeah,
Split.
they had that like split lane there. So you can stay out of the rut there.
Cut down, yeah.
So I mean, that's a very loamy, sandy Supercross
Yeah.
from 2014. And it just doesn't look like that anymore.
Yeah. That was so gnarly.
Yeah, that's that big 3 section. Oh, dude, look how close he got to Dunge's
know.
rear wheel there.
This line was big too. He was doing
Oh,
because he was going over that table.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got in the way. Was that Pike?
Nick Schmidt.
Oh, Schmitty. Yeah. So anyway, like it's changed a lot,
Yeah.
man. And it's like I don't know if it's the move. But
Yeah.
again, there's always like a reason why they do it, and the rain as well.
Yeah,
They got
yeah. The
plenty.
rain, the rain definitely hurt. I don't know. It was good for me to practice in the mud, like, cause I was never a mud guy, and I kind of crushed it in the races that we had mud, so that was good.
Yeah. So Seattle was that. So all right. Do you remember at A1 or 8? It was like one of those. I asked you guys in the press conference. I was like, all right, every year someone steps up. You feel like that's gonna be the thing that happens. And I was like looking at you guys, like, which one of you guys is actually gonna say like, I'm gonna be the fucking man?
Yeah,
You didn't say it, but you ended up being the guy that did step up and became like the clear favorite on the West Coast. Like, what's that process feel like when you're actually going through that?
honestly, like when you asked me that, I think it was might have
A2.
yeah, maybe it was A2. I knew at that point, honestly, I just needed to put it together. But I know that my competition, they thought the same thing. They thought they were the man, and we kind of all were at that time. We were ripping, but I kept going back and thinking like A1 was decent for me. I feel like RJ's experience helped him there as far as
Dealing with the moment.
with the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, like, dude, it was bad.
Why?
I don't know, just you all this preparation, all this talk of I'm on a new team, was it worth it? Is my new program worth it? Is everything worth it, And even though I believed in myself, like I don't know, you just feel that pressure. Like I didn't want to go suck, dude. It was like I want to prove to everybody that I'd made the right decision. So a lot of pressure there that I put on myself. But got a third on what I would consider a bad day for me. And then San Francisco went from pretty much last off the track, almost got Jordan in the last turn for the win. So I was like, all right, I know it was muddy, but I'm like, all right, I can win. At least I can win in the mud.
Yeah.
And then we go to San Diego. I'm pushing RJ for the lead. It was a little muddy too, but I clearly feel I was faster in that race. And then I crashed. So I took that away like, all right, I can win. Then I go to Glendale. I was pretty sick, and it wasn't my best day, but they had me beat there. But it was another one of those days like, all right, I got a second on a not so great night. So then we take a long break, and then when I went to Seattle and won, I don't know. Even before Jordan had fell, like I felt like I pretty much managed that gap. It was around 6 or 7 seconds, and I knew like if he got a little bit closer, I was just gonna, try to open it back up even more. Like I was just gonna manage that, and then obviously he went down. But that was when I was kind of like, all right, I put it together. I won that, and then St. Louis, it was just like, I don't even know. It was weird. It was like a way different feeling. I remember I was in the tunnel listening to music, just pretty much staring at a concrete wall. I was like so focused.
Yeah, you have like a real 1,000-mile stare. Like you do it at the press conferences.
I
Like
know, and people are always like, dude, what's this guy's deal? And I don't know.
You're thinking.
I am, and
Yeah.
I zone off, so like my girlfriend gets pissed at me
Same, bro.
sometimes.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
Like I know it's probably all men. It's like in one ear out there. Like if I'm in my zone, I'm zoned
Don't
off.
even hear it, bro.
I don't, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm the same way when I'm on the line. Like I'm just locked in. And at St. Louis, I was like, yeah, it was a sick feeling. Like to get that feeling back, which I plan to in the future. Like that's a good feeling when you just go up and it's like I could feel like when the gate was going to drop almost.
Mm.
And yeah, I mean, pretty much just knew that I was the man. Like, you almost know you're going to win. And felt the same way at Nashville. Obviously, it just doesn't happen sometimes. So, I don't know. And then the pressure kind of rolled around. Like, by Denver, still felt really good. But with the boot thing, that was sketchy. Like, there was so much emotion in that race. Like, I get a good start. I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit behind Joe for a while. And I, like, kind of have tactics. And I was like, all right, around the 5-lap mark, I'm going to push. And I'm going to try to get this done. But, like, that was my plan before the race. I always make a plan. And, I mean, right off the start, though, first lap, I go through the whoops. I'm like, all right, well, my plan's gone. I think my boot might fall off right now. So then I'm scrambling. And I'm like, all right, well, just keep the damn boot on. And, yeah, it was a bit of a shit show. But
was it hard to ride with it like that?
I wouldn't say it was easy. It was pretty... It was weird. The whoops, I jumped them because of it. Like, I did feel like I could skim them, but it was just constantly in my head, like, is my boot going to fly off?
Oh, dude, that's so sketchy.
Yeah.
Like, if that happens and you've just got one leg and you just, like, knack, there's a boot going that way, you're going that way.
And our foot pegs, like, there's no way I could ride with that.
Oh, no.
So.
Dude, even that, like, let's say your boot comes off and your foot lands back on the foot peg just on instinct.
Oh, dude.
Shredded, dude.
Shredded.
That's like weeks and weeks and weeks out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was full manage mode. Like, all right, keep the 24 behind me. And then Salt Lake, I just didn't execute at all, honestly. That was I just didn't execute. I tried my ass off in the race, but if I could go back and change one thing, it would have been I would have let RJ probably pass me in the heat race. And I'm a little bummed I didn't.
What do you think that would have changed?
It would have changed gate pick. I would have lined up right inside of him and just tried to put him behind me right off the bat. Yeah.
Did you have anyone giving you that advice, or that was kind of
No, I didn't want to bring it up. That was just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. So, not saying I don't know how it would have went that way, you know.
Yeah, but if you could go back and do something different.
Yeah, like that was just what I would do, you know. Yeah. But no, it is what it is. I mean, yeah, it was a fun race. I mean, he rode great, and
you guys were rolling in that heat, bro.
Yeah, the heat race was gnarly. Well, and I knew I had to show something though, because he knew he had my number from practice. But come race time, I can always like kind of find another gear a little bit sometimes. So the heat race was great though. I was like, all right, you know, this is fair. At this point, he doesn't have my number and I don't have his, honestly. This is fair game. Like, this is going to be a battle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it couldn't have went better, you know, as far as a race scenario, a fan scenario. Like, we were both going fast that night. And it's not like it was a track where it wasn't a Seattle where it was completely favored me, or the other way around, you know. So, yeah, it was a pretty even match that night.
Yeah. What lengths were you prepared to go to beat him if you had the opportunity? Like, were you down to really run it in, put him on the ground?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honest, I probably would have done something so dumb to try to win that it might have screwed both of us, you know. And I don't even mean to sound like an idiot, but like, gosh, when that was on the line, I was like, dude, I will seriously, like, I would have done some probably cheap stuff, like, not to put him in danger, but even if it was like going into that flat turn, that left, like if it meant hitting him wide open in the back tire and I crash with him and I try to get up before him, like, dude, it was anything to try to beat him, you know? So, and he would have done the same thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Maybe worse.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it was cool where he, you know, basically just straight up said, like, it's $700,000.
Yeah. I feel like
fucking a lot of money.
I feel like there's way too much. Why doesn't this sport talk about that stuff?
It drives me up the fucking wall, bro.
Like, I feel like you should be able to just spit off your numbers.
What's your numbers?
What's my numbers for what?
No. Championship, what was that night worth, yeah?
500.
So I think this is how I think about it. Sign on. I don't think, like, I've put a fair bit of thought into this, right? So should you know what I make? it's like, well, does it make the show better? Like the people
No.
that watch the podcast at home, does it make the show any better for you watching if you know how much money I make? No. Like it kind of,
Yeah.
you're not telling your kid when you grow up, you can be $1 million podcaster, right? But when you're on TV and you're watching a sport and you go, this race is for $500,000 cash bonus from Kawasaki, 200 when you add Fox, Scott, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like when you add all of that in, like that's probably $750,000.
Yeah.
It makes the thing better.
It does.
It actually makes the sport better.
Yeah.
So when you're watching a golfer at Augusta on the 18th hole after 4 days of playing golf and you know what's
He's got
on
a
the
$6
line,
million putt on the line.
$6 million putt.
Yeah.
That's fucking relatable.
Yeah.
You know, like that drives some kind of emotion. You don't have to give a fuck about golf
Yeah.
to know that hitting a tiny ball into a tiny hole for $6 million would make me shit bricks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So it's like, I think you're right in
Yeah.
saying that, like, why is it so? You know, and then I think it wouldn't make people feel so weird about like showing the money side of it.
Yeah.
Because like, dude, you know, you think how much money you reckon Jet made last year? Just guess.
What did he win? He won Supercross 250?
He won 250 Supercross.
Okay, so he had his own deal, so
I was going to say, I think he had his own deal for that.
he did.
And then,
so I know a number there.
so then he won
outdoor.
a 450 title.
Yeah,
Then
I
he
would
won
say
SMX, which had $1 million prize to it. Plus, whatever, I don't know what manufacturer bonus there was. Was there a SMX manufacturer bonus?
I'm not sure.
Was there one for you? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I know what I got paid. I know what.
From the payout
Yeah.
of the race. Yeah, yeah. But no, like, manufacturer.
No. I didn't get a bonus unless I won like that overall. You know, like
yeah. But yeah, I mean, what do you reckon Jet made last year?
8 to 10 mil, I'd say. That's what I would say. That's what you know. I know. I don't know, but like, you know, Tomac went on a good year. I would think that was 8 to 10. Just knowing numbers, I would say, yeah, and maybe it was a little bit more, but either way, yeah, there you go. That's a good amount of money.
Yeah, and should you be pissed if he bought a $400,000 Rolls Royce?
Not at all,
If you made fucking $10 million,
dude. He's got $1 million in taxes at that point.
Yeah, and guess what? Look up the weight of a Rolls Royce. What do you buy? A Cullinan?
I have no idea.
Look up the weight. How much does a Rolls Royce Cullinan weigh? Because this changes things. Because if it's over a certain amount of weight, that's 100% tax deduction, son. So it's not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just levels to that world, you know,
For
when you're
sure.
making that much money. Like
Yeah.
there's even things that people don't understand about even making that much money.
Yeah.
So like you spend 400 G's on a Rolls Royce Cullinan that is over, what's the weight of those? What's it say? No, we're trying to find. Anyway, but I'm guessing that that's a car that weighs enough to be a 100% tax deduction.
6,000 pounds.
Yeah. So what now? Look up how much does a truck have to weigh? It's probably a complex question, but how much a car has to weigh to be 100% tax deductible? But yeah, so it's like even that. That's why all the rich motherfuckers buy Range Rovers
Yeah.
because they're super heavy, and if it goes over a certain amount of weight, you can claim the whole thing on
Yeah.
tax. So, and like you said, he's probably got $1 million+
In taxes.
dollar tax bill
Yeah.
for the year, you know. So yeah, I completely agree, and I
Yeah.
think that it should be said on the broadcast. It should be
Yeah.
said. I don't think that knowing your salary, like in
No,
terms
I don't
of
think
your
salaries.
Let's-
That's a sticky subject because you got teammates and you got people that think they're worth more, or you know they may treat you a little bit differently if they know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't. The salary thing, who cares, right? And for the most part, you can, if you know the sport well enough, you kind of know a rough estimate of what everybody's doing. Like you probably know who the highest paid guy is right now.
Yeah.
And but there's your number.
So
6,000. So it's over
6,000 pounds, and what? How much was that? 6,100 pounds, right? So
Yeah.
you know, there's a whole different
Yeah.
game at play, and it's like I just feel like if we really knew the landscape, and if there was like a little bit more transparency, then people would like celebrate that shit.
Do you know Fabio? Do you know that name?
Fabio.
Like he used to be on commercials, like the long hair.
The most beautiful man alive.
Yeah. Yeah. So my dad's buddies with him.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
They stayed at his house yesterday, and he collects cars and stuff. So like, I want a GT3 RS, like a Porsche. That's like
you want or you won.
No, I want. Like that's what I'm gonna buy.
Won one.
No,
no.
No.
Motherfucker. How did you win one of those cars?
I almost did because the championship I was gonna buy one.
Perfect.
So, but that's like something I've thought about. Like these people that they talk shit on people buying nice things, but it's like at the end of the day, if you're smart with it, it's an investment. And I don't know. I really think you got to treat yourself. And whether that's somebody who makes $50,000 a year and they go buy a Kia Soul and that's a nice car for them, then there you go. There's your treat.
Yeah.
But you can't. I don't think you can set like a standard for. I mean, the people, that are shit talking about somebody buying a nice car, it's just the people that don't make the money that they make. So I don't know. You're always going to have those kinds of people, I think. I mean,
but I think it's just like there's an important element of it, right? Like if you're a dad or a mum, or you're a mum, and then your husband's coming to you and like, let's put little Johnny on this little 50, and it's like, what's the first thing everyone says? Oh, I'm gonna get my kid into golf. I'm gonna get my kid, and it's like, well, this kid's 20 and he made $10 million.
Yeah.
And the season before he probably made like 6.
Yeah.
And the season before that he probably made like 4.
Yeah.
It's like this. You can make money in this. It's like it's actually an attractive option. So it's like I even think it's more important than just like live and let live, which I completely agree with you on that. But it's like it's also like great for our sport if like, oh, these kids are putting up numbers. Yeah. Like this is something that I should invest in. Like this is something, school programs, college, there's no college motocross. Like I know Nate Ramsey was trying to get some stuff going with that for years. It's like, I think knowing this shit, not only does it make the racing better, not only does it make the spectacle better, but it also provides like a bit of a pathway of like, hey, it's not a bad thing for your kid to be a motocross and supercross racer.
No. And it may help, there's so many people that don't know what people make. And it's like, maybe it'll help when you got this millionaire that sees how much a golfer makes and hopefully they're like, you know what, those guys deserve more money. And maybe it'll bring bigger sponsors into the sport and get us paid more money. Yeah. Because I do feel, I'm super happy where I'm at or whatever. And, but like, I think there should be more money in it for sure. Like, I think it needs, there's definitely a lot of work that needs to be done to make it more of a professional sport, in my opinion, outside of just us racing our dirt bike. But, I definitely think it would benefit if it was talked about more. I don't know why it's kept such a secret.
Yeah, no, I don't either, to be honest. Yeah. There's your watch there.
That thing's sick.
That's they call that the Rolex Sprite. So
maybe that's the next.
I could see maybe that's like a good win bonus. But the thing is with that though, that I don't know if people know, but this is why watches are a good investment. So like you couldn't just walk into a Rolex store and get buy that watch. You know. So like
I've talked about some watch stuff with the dude I know, and it's pretty. You can't really lose on him.
No, not if you buy retail.
Yeah.
So which is cool. Like if you actually go to the store, so it's like you wait and then you just get a random phone call and it's like your watch is here.
That's pretty cool.
Like Hunter's super. Like dude, Hunter was probably wearing a fucking $60,000 watch at the presser the other day.
Yeah, I've heard he's pretty into it, but he's smart with it.
Super smart with it. So I don't know. But people like. They want to talk shit, and then I think it makes people a little bit like reflexive and like, I'll just keep it on the, I'll keep it on the down low. But it's like, that anyone that hates on Jet for making money or you for it's like, bro, put in your absolute life on the line day after day.
Yeah.
And I think I never thought about this angle of it, but when Villo did the pod, he was like, dude, I wish I spent more money. He's like, it would have kept me racing.
Yeah.
He's like, I just saved everything. And then I had a number in mind that I wanted to reach for my retirement. That was like my financial number. He's like, I fucking hit it. Like quick.
Yeah.
And then that's got to play with your mind because let's say it was like 50 mil,
Yeah.
60 mil, right? And then you've got this financial planner that's like telling you, hang it up, bro. You made your money. You
Yeah.
could die doing this shit.
Yeah.
When you got what you planned to get, you know, you didn't spend anything, you saved your pennies, and there's like kind of loses the incentive where it's like maybe if he splashed a bit of cash around,
Yeah.
it might have kept him coming back for more, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, that's very true. I've definitely not set a number, like, because I don't know what the problem with me is. Like, I feel like I could live a pretty good life off of like a lot less than maybe others.
I've been
Like,
broke for so long.
like, dude, I'll never, like, some of the best times of my life were when Star first picked me up, and you know, I just remember the difference of from then to now. Like, it was just funny. Like, but it didn't matter. Like, I was just loving life. I was here in California, and yeah, I mean, my treat was going and buying like a pair of Vans, you know. But yeah.
We can't do a race like the Gypsy 500 or really anything dirt bike related without first making an online pit stop at motosport.com. On our YZ250 project build, we went hard in the paint for everything from our Pro Circuit pipe and silencer to our boys and reeds and everything in between. The same goes when we're getting ready to take on a huge challenge like World Vets last year at Glen Helen, and the Gypsy 500 is no different. To prep for this insane event, we need to kit out our 4 Stark Vargs with moose tubes, hand guards, and some super soft grips, as well as our sag tool and more. To get your bike or body ready to race or ride in 2024, motosport.com should be your first destination. They have the biggest range, the best deals, and no one has more reliable shipping or better customer service. Motorsport makes it possible for us to make our crazy ideas come to life, and they can make it happen for you too. Head to motorsport.com to kickstart your riding season.
So
Still.
were you were Star pre-Goat Farm?
Yeah.
So what was that like?
That transition.
Yeah, but that almost feels like a really huge jump in that program. And if you were on it before and after, like you would have really seen like worlds of difference.
Yeah. Negatives and positives of it for sure. For me, it was like, all right, when are we going? Like, I want out of here.
California?
Out of California.
Yeah.
I was over the tracks, and I just didn't want to be, I didn't want to be stuck out here. Not saying that I'm a bad kid or something, but, you know, you never know. Like, I don't know. You can just get caught up in the
There's a
wrong
lot of
stuff.
pussy out here.
And you just distracted. Like, thinking back now, I mean, me, Romano, Pierce, like, we were all just amateurs. Pierce was about to go pro, but it's not like we were doing anything bad. But, like, I mean, we would ride, and then, like, we would go play golf every day. We would go run around, just be idiots. Like, we were not taking it super serious. You know, it's not as serious as I do now. And if I would have stayed out here, and I would have never known any different. I mean, eventually I would have probably learned because my results would have sucked. But
Yeah, you would have been like, why am I so shit
yeah,
at this sport?
yeah. So for me, it was like, it was good to get to Florida, and I wanted to be, well, the real. When I was moving to Florida, I thought maybe I still had a chance of going to Louisiana to do my own thing with Star. Like,
So you thought like, all right, everyone's going to Florida.
Maybe
I'm
I
going to
can
head
make it
east,
happen.
but I'm just going to go a little bit
Yeah.
that way. Yeah.
And I don't know why I thought that had never happened, but
It was never going to happen.
no, it wasn't. Like, from day one, I thought, we were gonna make it work, but
Did you bring it up to him?
I should have known better. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
From the day I signed, it was like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted
Go
to
back to Louisiana.
Yeah, I was gonna come out here, ride the bike for a little bit, get it set up, and then ship me a bike to Louisiana. Go back with Rob and Kevin at the time. It was moved to Kevin's, and I remember I was out here I was living at Will Hahn's house, and it was like every week. All right, Will, like, when can I go to Louisiana? I don't think Bobby wants you to go. A couple weeks. All right, when am I going to Louisiana? And eventually I just was like, I realized, I'm like, man,
I ain't going to Louisiana.
I'm not going. Like, I'm stuck. We're doing this. So I accepted it, and kind of put my head down, and then we moved to Florida, and it was pretty sick. The tracks were sweet. And it's funny seeing how far it's come since I moved there. Like it's pretty legit now out there at the farm. But yeah, it was different for sure. I think it was a big adjustment for me, not so much. But like, Romano, Jarrett Fry was a good buddy of mine at the time. He was on the team. Like, it was just, there's nothing to do out there. Like, it's just such a big adjustment. And yeah, definitely a different way of life. Luckily, I liked fishing and golf, so I was fine.
Yeah.
But if you liked the mall, if you liked
chicks.
Yeah. Like
Nah,
if you're at that
actually,
time-
there's a fucking lot of hot chicks in Tallahassee. They're
well,
just,
FSU's there.
they're just all,
Yeah.
they're just all at school.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, all right, there's your trap. Like,
Yeah.
I can still have fun, but I'm probably not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
You're down at the
Yeah.
FSU clubs and whatever. So, yeah, it's definitely a big change, but I don't know. It was fun. Like, I enjoyed it, and obviously I just knew I needed a change at the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, that argument of like, well, there's fucking nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I think about COVID for me, right? So like I was in Australia, my wife was stuck in another country. We couldn't see each other. We're like 2 years apart, the whole deal. And it's like, that was the best time of my life in some respects, because I read like those 2 years, dude, I read like 80 books.
Yeah.
And I did so much jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And I was like, I rode
Just locked in.
I was fucking locked in, bro.
Yeah.
And it was like the best feeling.
Yeah.
And I've been honestly chasing that feeling.
Yeah.
And as soon as COVID was up, as soon as I could get on a plane and leave to see her, I flew to Indonesia, 10 days in quarantine, 3 months in Bali. We spent like a year in Oz basically, and then moved to Dubai for a bit. Then we got the visa to come here. And it is so productive to
Yes.
just be a monk. And I was literally a monk for 2 years, and it was like my business did the best. I personally grew so much by just narrowing the focus and being locked in. And goes back to that conversation that we had before, where it's like, dude, if you can just take 10 years of your life, lock in, and say no to everything else, you can have a fishing channel for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It is. It's like give and take for sure, because to an extent, it's good until mentally you lose it. You know what I mean? And that's where I got to the point. I mentally was just over it. I was like, I didn't really enjoy riding as much anymore. And it just felt like the same thing over and over and over again. And yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things where when I was there, I was pretty locked in.
Yeah.
But it started to, I started not liking my job as much. Or it's not even a job. I love it so much. I wouldn't even call it a job. But yeah, once after a year of that, I was kind of like, all right, I need to at least change some things. So then I would try to go fish more and try to do some other stuff more. But yeah, then I was just like, all right, I need to move.
Yeah. Well, I think I tried to bait you like 20 times at press conferences this year to tell us that you were over it. But kudos for staying on the down the line on that one. But from my perspective, it makes complete sense. I think that there's a certain type of personality, and as much as I get flamed for this, the whole the jiu-jitsu gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Star Yamaha right now is like a jiu-jitsu gym. You got top dog that is the fastest there every day, and he's the man, and then you got the dude running the gym, and then you got all the egos that are, you've got this group, the mechanic, and then the mechanic of this guy, and I'm sure everyone's cool and everyone gets along. But there is a cocktail that's going on at all times, and it's like a moving, evolving dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is okay, same dudes, same. And then the only thing that changes is who did better on the weekend.
Yeah.
Right? And then you go there, and it's just scrimmage, the whistle. And then it goes again. All right, scrimmage. there's only so long. Like there's some people that can do that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and it's the ego clashes that just like, whether it's on the track, whether it's like in the pits, whether it's in the lock, like you're just locked in dealing with these people. And like, I had an experience with a gym. I trained at this gym for 5 years, didn't know anything else. And it made me like, it was a hard environment to stay in, and people would come and go. And there was like a core group of people that were there. It was toxic.
Yeah.
You know, and it just took me like 5 years to be like, actually, this isn't fun. Like, I'm fucking good at jiu-jitsu now because of like dealing with these, but like, this really isn't very fun. And then I moved gyms and I was like, this is shit. This is the shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I can work on what I want to work on. I can train with different people. I can go to these different places. It was just like, no, you train here. You got this logo on your gi and rash, then you're locked in. You're one of us. And I did it for 5 years there, and I was like, you know what, not for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty spot on to how it went for me. And I'm blessed to. I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't do that, honestly. So I'm grateful I did. Like, it taught me a lot, and I mean, I would have never known that I wanted to be. I mean, I always knew I wanted to be on my own, but like, that made me truly appreciate what I'm doing now, if that makes sense. Like, if I didn't know any better and they immediately let me go to Louisiana and nothing changed, then I would have, I mean, who knows? Like, I probably would have ended up, I don't know if I would have ended up better or worse, but like, I got to live that kind of lifestyle. Yeah, exactly. And, but what really was weird for me is when I started to realize, like, I was racing every single day. Like, and then when I started doing better was when I actually realized that, because I'd be the fastest guy during the week, and then I'll never forget, because I remember they were giving me shit for it, but before A1 in 23, before A1, I was riding like I was ripping at the test track, and I was like, no, this was 22. This was my rookie year. I was going East Coast, and I knew Lawrence was going East Coast and Faulkner and all them. And I was riding really well. I was riding with J-Mart. But I remember going up to Swanee, and I'm like, because it was before we knew what coast we were riding, and they were asking, like, what do you think you want to do? And I was like, I want to race Jet. I want to race Jet in Austin, because I was like, I can beat him. Like, that's just how mentally I was just like, I can beat him.
Hey, that's dope.
Yeah, I mean, it was, you got to think like that. But yeah, I showed up to race. I sure as hell didn't beat him. I mean, I didn't even make it past the second round. I ate shit and knocked myself out. But it was one of those things. And then the next year, like, same thing, ripping. Like, I was like, all right, I'm going to A1. I think I'm going to win. Like, I really do. And I think I got 6th or something like that. And I was just like, this is giving me such false confidence. Like, I was like, like, it means something, but at the same time, it means nothing. Like,
Dude.
I was going the fastest during the week, and I'm like, this means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So fast forward, like,
and you've got pressure to go that fast.
Yes. So fast forward, I started really realizing, like, the vets of the sport, the guys that were winning, which at the time, like, Justin Cooper was around me, and if he was feeling on a day, he'd go lay down some burners and he'd smoke us. But then there was days where I would beat him, or whoever, like, and I started to realize, like, he's out there and he's just managing his weeks so that he can go into the weekend fresh and he can do well. I didn't have that part in my brain that would allow me to do that. I was like, I want to win every single day.
Yep.
But it was almost hurting me a little bit because I'd go into the weekend and I'd be kind of shot sometimes. So now with kind of a different program, it's like I'm always, it's pretty much me and Ken. It was all off season because Chase and Tom went over to Alden. So, but there were so many days where it was like, this is no joke. I would do motos and I wouldn't even have a stopwatch on me. I wouldn't even, the pit board would just say, breathe, the normal stuff. But
straighten you back in the whoops.
Yeah. I strictly went off of like, I felt super good that day.
Yeah.
Like, I'd talk to my mechanic and, it was nice for me. And then I went to the race and the way I think is like, when I work by myself like that,
You can work on your weaknesses in a safe place.
Yes, and those days where I would get beat at the farm, I'd go to the race and I'm already beat mentally. I'm like, all right, well, I got beat all week by J Coop, so how am I going to beat him at this race?
Can't beat him today. Yeah.
Where now, I could really ride like shit, but I go to the race and I'm like, I'm still damn good. You know what I mean? I wasn't racing anybody this week. It was just me. So I can go in with false confidence, and sometimes, I mean, false confidence is
Fake
better
it till
than
you make it, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So now every time I ride, I'm like, I'm ripping, and I might not be ripping.
Yeah.
Who knows? But I go into the weekend like, all right, I'm the man.
Dude, it's huge, eh?
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard. Like, one of my biggest challenges in training, and sorry to everyone that's listening, but I'm fucking talking about training. But I found it so hard to work on my weaknesses because I was in this ego death battle with this dude across from me who I hated.
Yeah.
Like, I hated this guy. And every time I would get anxiety driving to training every day, like something that I'm just doing for fun, right? I'm getting anxiety because I know that I have to fucking deal with this guy. And so I'm studying and I'm trying to improve and I'm trying to learn new techniques and I'm trying to get better at my craft. Nah, I'm just there locked in a fucking war with the same dickhead 3 days a week. And I'm just like, I can't, how do I improve?
Yeah.
I get that vibe from that environment, you know? And it's like, there's some people though where that would drive them. And it would just work amazing.
There's people that,
you know,
it's, you know, there's 8 people over there, however many right now. And, like Swanee and those guys, they've done a great job. Like he's won a lot. And, it just, certain people click and others don't. And you see it happen with, the certain ride. Like you wonder, you know, you ask questions like, where did so-and-so go? And like, I'm still really good friends with Matt LeBlanc, but that, I mean, people would argue with me, but I know I'm good enough friends with him and he's told me it burnt him out. Like he could have been great. He really could have been. And it burnt him out and he was over it. And, you know, the list goes, I mean, there's a lot of people that way. And it's like, you know, what if they just did something a little bit different? Would it have turned out a little bit different for them? And I think the answer is yes for probably 100% of those people. I mean, you can see when a kid's got it, like talent-wise. And if they get pushed too hard or they just they're not in the right environment, they're not gonna succeed at that point. So it's tough for sure because it's worked. So now it's kind of like they think it's the way. And I'm trying to do my best, honestly. Like, it's given me a lot of motivation to just, like, even this whole year, I think you're going to see more people, I hope, try to do it this way. You know, and I think it'll be better for the sport if you just have to know which kid you can give freedom and which one you can't, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You know, you can see in a kid if they're accountable and they're going to do their work. You would have known if I didn't do my work. I mean, I wouldn't have done anything this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I think you're going to see a lot more kids trying to kind of do their own thing if that's what works for them. But there's also, like we talked about, there's kids that strive in that environment and they're perfectly happy doing it.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's amazing is the facility. Yeah. Like, in terms of, like, the star model, right? Yeah. Man, just keep the facility. Like, that is such a huge asset. And I mean, KTM, like, basically has it with Alden. Yeah. But it's like, I think having that real legit facility where it's like you've got the gym, you've got the tracks, you've got the workshop, you've like that. God damn, to have all of those resources at your fingertips. Yeah. But it's like maybe there's just some angling of the program to get tweaked per rider.
A good example was we had moved there and like with Ferrandis, he was still on Star, but he took advantage of using a facility, but he worked with Villeman, you know, And we'd be out there riding.
You should have just started speaking French. You like get hit by a car. You hear those people that like
Yeah,
get hit by a car and then they only speak French.
Problem is, I don't know any French. So
You should have just faked it.
Yeah.
Just said heaps of English words that sounded French and was like, I need vitamin.
yeah. So anyway, he, just how he was still able to, he would do his separate thing with Vilman there, and but yeah, keep the facility and utilize it. Like, all right, I need so and so out here this week because we're gonna test, and that guy comes out whether he's in California with his guy or he's in Georgia or wherever he is. And it's kind of like the way I'm doing it with PC now. Like if I got a test, well, actually they've been sweet and they've came to Florida, but I'll also come out here. I'm just flexible. So it'd be the same thing. I mean, they would still utilize it and it would be worth all the money they put into it. But yeah, leave it up to the riders. What do they want to do?
Yeah.
And you'd have people that want to stay, and it's easier that way. And you'd have a lot of people that, would want to do some other stuff. Even Haiden he came and rode at Sandbox, and he's jumped around a little bit. Obviously they give him, or they allow him to do that, which is cool, but not everybody, is
Has
able
that
to
same-
do that.
Yeah.
I definitely wasn't. So, I don't know.
A Washougal, I saw you. It was like my first round. That was
Yep,
like the
I
first time
remember
we
that.
like properly met.
Mm.
And that was the first time I ever saw like the full Deegan effect in full swing. And unless you've been to the Star Rig at like a
It's
national,
wild.
bro, like I don't think people fully understand. Like, and when you left Star, like you're the first dude that ever was just like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm out. And everyone was like, what the fuck? That's the place where you want to go, right? And then when you left, I remembered Washougal, and it was Deegan the whole time, and like people would be like asking you to get Haiden,
him.
and
I
I'm
know.
just like, oh, I'd be out too, bro.
Yeah.
I'm fucking gone.
Oh man, yeah, that was crazy. I'm sure it's still that way, but it's like a mosh pit.
It's
It's
wild.
nuts. Yeah. He's brought a lot of fans to the sport, which is good, but it's crazy.
It's just like hard. I'm assuming it's like hard to be under that truck when that's going on.
Yeah, like I remember we'd be up trying to watch footage, and like they don't stop. He'll be in the rig, and they're screaming his name, and it's
Yeah.
like, dude, just please shut up. I'm trying to take a nap. Now it's like it's crickets over at the Pro Circuit one, so it's nice. I could sleep.
Big difference.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very laid back. But also, unfortunately, like most of the year, I was pretty much by myself, with my teammates being hurt. So
That would have been a wild experience to go
What?
from Star and having
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people,
Yeah.
a lot of teammates, a lot of everything, a
Mhm.
lot of the fan stuff with the Deegan to then like you, Mitch, Bones,
yeah,
couple of the boys
I know.
in a quiet semi.
Yeah. It's been sweet, though. It's been really nice. And even when the teammates are around, like they're all really laid back. And even my new teammate, the fill-in for the summer, like
Yeah.
we've known each other for a while. I used to train at his place. So it's super just chill. It's
Yeah.
very low key over there. And yeah, Mitch is pretty awesome.
Yeah. He is cool though.
Yeah.
He's a super cool dude.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. I'm pissed I didn't win because I wanted to dye his hair so bad.
Was that the plan?
Yeah, if I won the overall, it was to do the same hair as
The
me.
overall at the race?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's why you guys protested.
Oh, man. Hey,
Dude, you were cool as fuck through all that. Actually, Haiden was cool as fuck through all of that too, really.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
That was a pretty, except for him talking shit in the press conference,
Yeah.
but he's got to do that.
yeah,
But, to paint the picture for people, like, you were chilling.
yeah,
Like, you were just like, well, he beat me, like, fuck it.
yeah.
Like.
That's, yeah, I mean, and I think the only, like, I obviously know Mitch never physically went up and went to the AMA and protested. I mean, everybody can say what they want, but it was more so because of the Tom thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, let's be fair. If you're going to dock one dude, then maybe think about docking the other. But I didn't actually really know about it until yeah, we were all sitting there waiting for the press conference to go down, and then I walked out and asked Haiden, I'm like, what's going on? So you guys are protesting me. I'm like, it's news to me. Like, what are you talking about? But I don't know. I'm just gonna know from now on. As long as I look over my shoulder,
I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I could still jump the jump, whatever. Like, because it's almost good that something like this happened because it's gonna clear it up.
It
Like
sets a precedent now.
it does. And if I have to pull up, in the future, like, yeah, we're going to use this, or any team really should, and Star should use it too. Like,
Yeah.
if it happens again to them or whatever, all right, well, here's Paula. This is what he did. This is what Tom did. I'm assuming they docked Tom because he didn't look.
Well, I think with Tom though, so I was just on track. Like, I was watching you from on track, so I didn't go in. I watched the replay, like, in the press thing because they got the TVs in there. Tom went around like the whoop section, basically, like the roller section, got pushed off, or like he swapped. Dude, it was fucking funny when I actually saw it on TV. There was that hole in that berm, and I looked and I watched him hit that hole, and I'm like, there's no way I could hit that hole. And there's also no way Tom could.
Yeah.
Because he got sent off.
Yeah.
But I think like he went around maybe like 4 or 5 of those. Like, so there's a massive time gain there,
Yeah.
and then to the Deegan thing, like, he went off track, but it just pushed him wider than the track was supposed to be, and then he went back on. So, like, if any, like, you'd have to lose time in that situation because you've, like, technically, if you go inside the track, you're cutting the track shorter from a length perspective. And if you go outside the track, you're making it longer. So, like, I kind of got it on that front.
Yeah. But Tom was on the outside.
Yeah, but he went past obstacles that would have slowed him down. So that's like, I'm just trying to be as like objective as like I can on the
I think it's the looking over though, because Tom went around the rollers.
And didn't check where anyone was?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, he obviously, us racers, whether you guys like to think or not, we know where people are at. Like, obviously Tom knew he's not going to jump over and hit him. He knew the gap, but you still have to look because it's the safe thing to do. But honestly, the one that I think got brought up was from the first moto, because Haiden goes off the left side.
Yeah, I was
misses,
right there.
Misses the roller.
Yeah.
And then misses like the start of that Dragons and then hops.
Yeah.
So yeah, the one where
the one that was
really
probably the one
that was really comparable to Tom's. And I don't know.
Yeah.
From now on, it's like, I know what I can do.
Yeah, you've got some footage to back it up.
And I'm not shitting on them for what, like I said, Haiden did straight up beat me. And yeah, I would have literally, like, if they gave me that overall, Hayden's keeping his #1 trophy from Paula. And yeah, the only thing that's changing is
you keep the check.
Yeah, the check would be nice.
yeah.
But and Mitch would have dyed his hair. But yeah, like, I wouldn't have. I mean, that's like a. But at the same time, I've been thinking about it. Like, it just has to be. It has to be more fair, because at the end of the season, I know Haiden doesn't want a little asterisk next to his championship, or me, or Tom. Like, maybe fans don't remember what happened at round 1, but if it came down to a 3-point swing, there's your 3-point swing.
And the thing that is disappointing for me as a fan, I'm going to back up to Supercross, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the round, the Red Cross flag deal.
Oh, bad. St. Louis.
Bro, like, Justin Barsha just fully cleans Jet's clock in one of the most savage hits in a long time, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the thing I'm mad about.
Yeah.
I was in Dubai watching it on the couch with my mum, and I was fucking fuming, bro.
Yeah.
Because you're telling me that you've got 5 of the best riders on planet Earth, and all of them miss the flag. All of them. Eli was I'm of the opinion that Eli was going to roll that. jump no matter what.
No matter what.
Because
Yeah.
he was second.
Yeah.
Jet was jumping it because he was winning the race.
Yeah.
And so you jump, you don't roll the finish line, you jump and you do the
Do a little
fucking
whip,
do a
whatever,
little
yeah.
whatever. So like he was jumping it no matter what. Eli was rolling it no matter what.
Yeah.
So all the people in the comments were like, well, Eli saw it. Eli was rolling it because he was about to lose to Jet by maybe 5-6 seconds.
He
and
went
he had
way
a
tight.
14
Yeah.
second gap on. So
Yeah.
he's out as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
And then the next guy, and then the
Jumps.
next guy, and then the next guy, and then and they're not shit.
Yeah.
They're really good Supercross racers.
Yeah.
And they all missed the thing that is designed for rider safety, right?
Yeah.
So, and then you're docking the dude, and then what does that do for the next race where Jet gets a bad start and he's like, I didn't get the whip, like, so it sets off this. What if that hit takes Jet out of the championship?
Yeah.
You know, obviously I sound like a Jet fanboy right now, but that's fine. But it's like
No, but it's
When you-
if it was anybody.
when you
right?
don't have clarity and you don't have like that shit's not professional.
Yeah.
So when you've got a sport where 5 of the top dudes in the sport, there's probably $15 million in sign-ons in
Yeah.
those riders right there,
Yeah.
and they all get it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, is it their fault or is it your fault?
Yeah.
Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like your fault.
Yeah.
Like do more, right?
Yeah.
And to then fast forward to this weekend, and we're all just sitting there waiting. You guys haven't eaten anything. You're all
Mhm.
hungry. You're all over it. No one knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, bro, come on, lift. Let's do more.
Exactly. Yeah.
That to me, I think was maybe one of the most frustrating
Yeah.
things that I've witnessed in just so long. And I'm like, we deserve better.
Yeah.
The fans deserve better, you know? And like, if you can have like the NFL, for example, think about how costly a call is in like the Super Bowl. Like,
Yeah. Oh.
think about
Dude,
what's on the line there, and they can make a call.
that quick. Yeah.
Like, we're cooking it when
Yeah.
it comes to that. And it's
Well,
like,
it's I mean, I think that they already had known. Tom was docked before the second moto even started, right? Like that was
I
already
think
up.
so, yeah.
So what? That took. We have 30 minutes in between, so that probably maybe they decided in 15 minutes.
Mm.
It took 4 hours.
Did
Like-
he keep the win?
Yeah,
He
yeah,
did, yeah.
But like 4 hours, like to do that I was
Over
like,
something that should be so cut and dry.
yeah, like you should just know whether it's right or wrong, or like whether you messed up or you didn't.
And then the fact that you guys don't.
That's what I'm saying.
And you're, you know what I mean? Like you're even when you're on the track, like Haiden obviously thinks he did the right thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like he should know. He shouldn't
Exactly.
think whether he's doing
shouldn't
the
think,
right,
yeah.
you know, the right thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. To me, I'm just like, what the fuck is it? Just can't be like that
Yeah.
for you guys. I think there's
No.
just too much on the line.
Exactly. There's way too much on the line. I mean, like I said, if my $500,000 bonus comes down to a docking, like, man, I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And like you said, think of the Super Bowl where it's way more money than that.
And they can just get it right.
Yeah.
Everyone's got clarity, you know.
Yeah.
Or like you think about the F1.
Yeah.
You know, they just got a dude that just knows what the drill is, and it's like in black and white.
Yeah.
And it's like we really should be able to get to that point in our sport.
Exactly.
What do you think about my solution to all of especially the flag thing is just like in-ear radio communications?
Yeah. I mean, we'd have to put I don't know, it would be good, but well, actually, it would just depend on the rider and what you talk to you're talking from your mechanic, right?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I think there's an argument for that too.
Yeah,
but
I don't think
at the
that's a good idea.
At the very least, just a race control.
Yes.
And you know, have you heard the sound effect that the F1
Mm-mm.
it makes? So there's like this little dink. It's like a little video game sound, right? So that comes on softly in your ear first, and then just one dude, one voice, like ambulance flag over the triple.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know,
Yeah, no, that would
yellow
actually
flag
that
in
would be
sector 3.
perfect.
Yellow flag here, rider down over the finish line. Just those and it's like bloop, and it comes up. So
Yeah.
it's like not this crazy invasive or your mechanic screaming at you
Yeah.
or change lines here or whatever. But just that one race control, or even like a red flag where it's like, hey, red flag, back to the start, staggered start.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
Simple
what's
as
going on.
that. Yeah. No, that would actually be sweet. Yeah. Because obviously the whole mic thing's been brought up with like mechanics and everything. I think that would be too much. But
As in for you personally to like hear from your mechanic and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. Not that it would be an advantage or disadvantage, whatever. Like, I just think I would assume that 90% of the other racers at our level would agree. Like, it would be too hard to. You just wouldn't want to. I don't know. I think it'd be too hard to focus and talk like while you're fully in race mode like that, or even listen. But if it was just a quick, voice saying, "Hey, there's a medic flag here," or it would have helped me. Like even at Glendale, like it would have helped me because I didn't know that those were flashing yellows. I thought they were
When was
flashing
this?
reds.
Oh, yeah.
So I rolled,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Smitty and me collided. So like, there would have been great. You know what I mean? Like, all right, there's a blinking yellow after the triple. Like
Yeah.
that's all I hear. Okay, well, I know what's going on.
Yeah, and then the thing that I think is like the massive win out of that, right? So the reason why we're so pissed off about St. Louis is because it's 5 of the best dudes in the world
Mm-hmm.
that all got it wrong, right?
Yeah.
So then they've all got an excuse. They're all like, dude, I didn't see the flag. Like, look at the guy. And then it becomes like this back
Yeah,
and
where
forth.
if you heard it, you don't have an excuse.
Yeah. And then it's full of the internet police.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the story that I posted, I like lit up on my story. But
Mhm.
dude, it got like 90,000 views on the story. And like, bro, my DMs just, my phone was f***ed. And I was like, well, I probably just shouldn't have said anything. But it's like, the reason why is because then everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Everyone's got something to say. But if you have the in-ears and then you test the helmet after the race, you're like, hey, bro, like, I can hear my voice. Like, you definitely heard what we were saying.
Yeah.
Instantly, no one can say anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the same page. Everyone got the same information at the same decibels through the same speakers.
You're gonna start hearing people say they're deaf though. That's where it's gonna go. I can't hear. I don't know.
But then we go, well, they can hear it in Formula One car.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I just think that that's like such a easy, and it's cool. It's like that's a cool thing to just like incrementally get the sport a little bit better. And
Yeah.
safety, dude. Like, do you remember San Diego B practice, like 250 class? That huge pile up on the finish.
I'm trying.
You
to
might
remember.
not have seen it, bro. Yeah, you're like me. You don't ever watch B practice.
Yeah. No, I remember the finish line. I don't remember.
Do you remember the crazy pile up?
No,
Oh, bro, it was so gnarly.
really. Oh,
You
no,
remember?
I do. My buddy from Washington was in that. Yes.
That was so
was
gnarly,
laid out,
bro.
yeah.
I'm in the press box and it's facing right at the landing ramp at that jump. And then one dude comes
Dude,
over and
boom.
crashes. And it was just, hey, and it was just explosion after explosion after. And we're in the press box yelling, like, put the flag.
How about Marchbanks this weekend?
That was pretty bad.
Press day.
Yeah. The press day one's hard, eh? Like,
I know,
you
but
gotta have
still,
flight.
that was bad.
That's worst case scenario. And even Davey was in here before and he was like, that sucks,
Yeah.
you know? But like press day, I get it.
Yeah.
Race day,
No exceptions.
I don't think that we should be having that combo, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think even for the AMA's sake, it's just like, if I was running the AMA and I had, or whatever, I'd be like, wait, put a thing in their helmet so that no one has any excuse ever. No
Yeah.
one can argue any of these penalties. No teams can carry on about it. It's just like, hey, the rules is the rules, bro.
Yeah.
We put it on the speakers. They all heard it. He jumped the thing. Done.
Exactly.
So cut and dry then.
Yeah,
And it's a way better look on the sport, you know?
for sure.
Changing topics.
Okay.
How cool was it getting on the PC bike for the first time? Because arguably you've been on like the best bike for a long time. If you go off recent history,
Yeah.
that transition to go from Star to PC.
You want to hear the whole transition?
Just give it to me. Just tell me.
Like the one thing I think it's not talked about enough, and it's a a hidden thing that you're not supposed to do, whatever, but riding different bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're into the sport enough, you probably know people ride different bikes,
Yeah.
like when contracts are coming up. So that whole process, like, that's a crazy feeling. And I mean, when I knew, it was my last year or whatever, and I started getting phone calls.
So you had like multiple offers?
Yeah, KTM was the first big one.
Yeah. I did hear that actually.
Yeah, and then Triumph and PC.
Triumph would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, so like Triumph was the first bike I rode. But just like that whole experience of doing that stuff is pretty cool. Like it's
super cool.
Yeah. I mean it's frowned upon, obviously. But
by people you should not be listening to.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things, like I feel like it shouldn't be so. I mean, I get a manufacturer is helping you and they're paying you and you shouldn't ride another. But I think where it's like if it's never leaked or found and it's a really private setting, like I think it's necessary, because had I not rode different bikes, I would have ended up at a different place for sure. I'm not going to say where, but like that had a lot to do with it, obviously. So,
so the bike you chose was not the bike you thought you would choose.
No.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah. It was a total surprise, to be honest, for me.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, I'm going to leave Star. I want to go do my own thing. You had 3 options, and then you rode all the options with a completely open mind.
Fully open mind. And at that point, it was obviously doing my own thing had a lot to do with it, but at the same time, it was also, all right, I can't take a step backwards and Equipment-wise, exactly. So with Triumph, I could do whatever I wanted. It was a really good deal. I rode the bike. They weren't far along with the bike at all. I rode it pretty much stock. So it was kind of a bummer for them and for me.
Yeah, you probably would have had a different impression if you rode it
like now.
Yeah, because I watched the race back on TV last night. Dude, Savachi's bike looks so good.
Good, yeah.
Like,
and
really
the guy doing
good.
his suspension is who did Stars for years.
Is it Gilmore that's doing it?
No, Drew Hopkins is his name.
Okay,
So
yeah.
he was with Star. I think he won like 9 championships with them.
Yeah, the bike looked really, really
yeah,
good.
it does.
For a first ever outdoor.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, yeah, I rode that. And that was a Friday. I said I called in, I said I was sick, but really I just left a day early.
Called in sick.
Yeah. Flew to Atlanta, rode the bike anyway. And then
What was your impressions of it?
it was good. Yeah, handled really, really good.
Did it feel like do you have anything that it felt like in the past?
Like the only way I could describe it was a KTM and
Motor.
a Yamaha
Yeah.
like had a baby.
Yeah.
That was pretty much what I kind of pictured it, or whatever, I don't even know, imagined. And so I had rode that one, and then a couple months later, or about a month later, I went and rode the factory KTM. Pretty much called in sick again. Flew to Cali on like a late flight, and then rode the KTM in the morning, and then rode
Where'd you ride it?
the KTM track.
Oh, so you rode Soupy
Here.
on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Soupy on everything.
Okay.
On all the bikes.
So do you feel like that's the deal breaker, is how the bike feels in Supercross?
No, honestly. It's just that's the time
just
that
the
contract
timing.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where you're going to pick your bike.
Fuck, how gnarly is that? Just riding a Supercross track on a completely different bike.
Bro.
Yeah,
Like,
nah.
and especially, like, the reason I want to say this is because for the people that don't understand, like, the feelings, like, you're doing something that you're not supposed to be, technically. And in my case, I had to race the next day back on my other bike. So it's chaos. But that's how you have to do it. You don't have time. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
So, like, when I was riding the KTM, it was like, all right, don't crash, first of all. But see how this thing works.
Dude, and you're like, oh, I suppose that track, KTM track, you can kind of pull in and like no one's gonna see you.
Yeah.
But like, bro, you go to the Temescal Canyon
Yeah.
tracks, like, dude,
Oh.
you can't even pull into like
They
when I
knew-
came
they
over with
knew.
you guys, I saw like 5 people like just driving up there. I'm like, oh
Yeah, people knew for sure. Pierce knew. Mumford saw me, I think. But anyway, so I rode it that morning, and then the afternoon I rode the PC bike. And I'm going to talk crap because I got the KTM track was like sick. Like it was all prepped, and it was pretty nice. So I rode it, and then I went to PC, and the track was bone dry, no water, hammered, like whoops were edged out. And I was so nervous to ride. Like I was like, dude, I didn't hit the whoops for like, I don't know how long. I was like, I'm going to crash. This is not good. And to be honest, that's what sold me on that bike. I went out there and I was scared to hit the whoops. And I was like, you know what? F it. I got to see if it works in them. Yeah, clicked fifth and hit them like wide open, and the thing didn't move. And they were destroyed. And I was like, yeah, I think this is the bike. And the power was good. And yeah, so it all worked out great. And obviously with KTM, it was going to be at Baker's factory. There was no argument in that. Or
yeah,
no changing
freedom. So you kind of want freedom.
So
but-
yeah, then it really came down to Triumph and Cowie. And then with Triumph, they just weren't far enough along. I just got a little bit worried, and I was in a position where I need to go win. And yeah, and then once I met, Mitch, and like I'm super stoked on where I ended up. I mean, I think everything happens for a reason, and I'm where I wanted to be. So
I'm guessing Triumph would have paid you more than Mitch.
yeah,
Yeah,
because it's separate gear. Well, at that time, not that I was like running the. Wouldn't say running the show, but it was like
you had leverage.
I had some big leverage,
Yeah.
and it was going to be my own deal. Was thinking Fox probably, own gear deal, and then the bike deal, and
so you get nothing from Fox now from PC.
It's team deal
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So I mean, that's probably like, to put that in perspective for someone that's listening that doesn't know. I mean, if you're on a 450 with a gear deal with like one of the big brands, you're looking at like $600-700
to
like,
$1 million.
even sometimes over $1 million.
Yeah.
Depending on who you are. So I mean,
As a 250 guy, now that there are some people that get some gear deals,
who's got
like
gear deals in 250s?
Joe,
Yeah,
KTM,
yeah.
that's
The mayor, he's got O'Neill.
that's it, right?
That's yeah.
Honda and KTM. I think. I don't know, actually.
Well, Chance would have Fly.
Chance, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Chance
just,
would-
Honda and
Honda.
KTM.
Yeah. Everyone else is like locked into the.
Yeah.
So that, and I'm guessing a PC salary is like 300. So it's like around about. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're getting a gear deal.
Yeah,
that's
so like
what do you think a 250 gear deal? Like, if you could do your own 250 gear deal, what do you think that'd be?
depending anywhere from 2 to maybe let's say 3. I'd say 150 to 300, I would say.
Yeah. Plus bonuses.
Plus bonuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe more for certain people, but then the list goes on. I mean, you can do a goggle deal for
Helmet deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, you probably left like a few $100,000 on the table by signing with PC,
Yeah.
maybe,
I would, yeah.
which is cool.
Oh yeah, because the way I look at it, like
You invested in yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what was hard for me. Like with Star, you have the facility, that's paid for. You have, you pay. At that point, you just pay trainer, and the mechanic. It's at Star. That's their responsibility. And when I went to PC, like I wanted to do it on my own, so it's like, all right, I got to pay my trainer, my mechanic. I got to pay the facility I'm riding at, all this stuff, and it added up to be a lot, know. But at the end of the day, I look at everything like, okay, let's say I'm gonna invest in myself. It's like $150,000 for me a year to to pay my trainer, do all that stuff. If it works out like I know it will, I need to win 3 races this year, and I just made it.
Yeah.
So that's just
It's the cost of doing business.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I look at everything that way. I mean, if I bought my bass boat because I was like, all right, I need to go get a second.
If I win 400 fishing tournaments on Wednesday.
Yeah. No, but it's funny. Like I just treat myself in that way. My bass boat was because of San Francisco. I got a second. I was like, all right, I'm going to go get a bass boat. That's how I do everything with me.
I think that's fine.
Yeah. So
it's pretty cool the way that you can, frame that investment on yourself. Like I think this translates just to life in general. And I've lived my own experience of this, where it's like when you're in this kind of famine mindset, it's just like you're getting everything that you can, and you're just like trying to protect the stash.
Yeah.
You can spend so much time trying to protect the stash that nothing comes in, and it's like, we got to the point in this business where it was just like we had to hire more people. We needed, like I have a manager now that, like I'll get deals and just be like, just forward it. And I'm literally just giving my money away, but it's like you kind of just get to a point where it's like you have to invest in yourself, and you can't just be in that famine mindset to grow, you really do. And it gives you a little bit of extra incentive to like make shit work, because you're like, well, fuck, the money's going out. It's not a one-way street.
Yeah.
And there's almost a little bit of extra accountability there.
For sure. Yeah. With me and the way I think with everything like that, it's funny. It's like I use it as like motivation just to do stuff. And there was some stuff. I remember there was some stuff this year I wanted for my boat, like just graphs and some little stuff for it. Anyway. And it was before Nashville. It was going to cost me like $10,000 for everything. And I was like, all right, I need to go get on the podium at Nashville to do it. Like, I'm not going to get it unless I make some bonus money, because I didn't want to. And then I crashed at Nashville, and I'm like, well, I just got to wait. And I was like, all right.
Even though you could fully go
I
and
could
just
fully go buy it,
want.
but I just use it as like I don't deserve it. I don't. It's the same way with like, if I, for example, like, I can say today is Monday, like it doesn't matter what. Yesterday I wanted to play golf, but I wasn't going to play golf unless like I won over the weekend. So I just use it as like, all right, I don't deserve to play golf.
That's good.
That's how I roll sometimes. I just make those things up, and it's or if it's a cheat meal, all right, I don't deserve it.
Yeah.
That's how you kind of hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, 100%. So you were saying you study more than some other guys. Like, what's study for you?
I just feel like, I mean, maybe others look at it, but I know racers that they don't look at lap times or anything like that. They don't really care. They don't think it means anything.
They don't see the value in it.
Yeah. I always have been. I don't know. I could tell you a lot of the races that I was fastest or slowest or, I like looking at that stuff, and I like to see where somebody's better than me and kind of try to learn the person, even though we kind of get a good idea. Even going back to this weekend at Paula, like I know where off of segments and stuff, like I know where I had Hayden's number and I know where he had mine.
Where were those places?
So up by the mechanics area up front, the rollers and all that, where Tom went off, I was a couple tenths better.
You got leverage there. It's it's crazy the game we're getting into, where like your height and length is just like the biggest advantage nowadays.
I know.
Like you can see it with Jet and Hunter.
Yeah.
Identical riding style, one has more leverage.
Yeah.
The way and that roller section, I watched the second 450 moto there, and you could just see the force jets putting through the rear of the bike purely because of how far his hips can get back while his head can stay centered over the bar pad.
Yeah.
Like you just have a huge advantage there.
Exactly. It is weird. And then there's, what's funny is like, okay, so there I was good. through the start area, those switchbacks really good. Up that Dragons thing, long legs, good. And then from basically that big triple step up in the middle, then it goes left. From that point up and down those hills, he had me covered.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can watch it on TV,
Yeah.
like every single lap. I mean,
Yeah,
especially,
the outside that he was doing
Yeah.
on that little mini rhythm section,
Yeah.
and then he was fucking
way
smoking
wide.
it and
Yeah.
then cutting inside.
Mhm.
Like, that was crazy fast, and he was staying out of so many bumps.
Yeah, exactly. And what's funny is how just certain people are good at certain things. Because then in the second moto, I obviously was behind him, so I followed him doing it, but the same places still took place. He would pull me a little bit back there,
Even though
even
you
I was
picked
doing
up
the
on that
same
line.
line. And then I would catch him by the finish line. So then I just kind of take that.
Yeah, that's
And-
data that you can then use.
Yeah, I just think of it like, all right, well, I maybe need to carry more speed through those turns to get up those hills a little better, or I need to gear my bike differently to have a little bit more to get up, because he would pull me a little bit just initially out of the turns. But then you can also think like, all right, Haiden probably weighs about 150. I'm about 170. So
Yeah.
that comes into account. Like, there's just so much to it. Like, you can, I mean, at the end of the day, you got fast people and you have people that aren't as fast, but
Yeah.
it's seriously, everybody's so damn good now. It's a game of
Yeah.
tense. It's crazy.
Yeah, man, it was pretty sick to just watch both motos, the way that you guys were so even.
Yeah.
You know, like you both, you dropped Tom,
Yeah.
and like I think he said he had some arm pump, and,
Yeah.
you know, but like just it was mono in mono that entire race, and like
Yeah.
the pressure you had to deal with in that first one. There was
Yeah.
one lap coming down the hill the first time. You know, we had that section where we were talking about outside, and then you went up over, then you dropped down. Did you hear one lap where his bike just stayed wide?
Oh, yeah. It was all the time.
Fuck me, dude.
Dude. And I've never really dealt, because I've been on that machine. Now I know what all those guys have talked about in the past. Like when you hear a star bike behind you, oh man, it's so damn loud, especially with him, right? Like there's just revers, and yeah, it was good. I love how it's like, I don't know. I just think that the race and everything was cool, because I mean, obviously the people on media want to say like, you know, when somebody wins, even if it's by 2 seconds, that they smoked that guy. You know what I mean? Like, but let's be real. It's pretty crazy to go 35 minutes and have the gap never get bigger than 2.5 seconds in that second moto. Like, it was pretty cool. And you're seeing like 450, same thing. Like, it's just nuts how at the end of that second 450 moto, how it's just, you know, Jet and Chase, and how close everybody is now. You just don't have that guy who runs away with it anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there was that one lap. I kind of just me and Anna, we just like walked around the track, the whole, like we were just in the crowd walking around, and yeah, there was just that one lap on the, I think because he was following you most of the time, like through the inside. Then I think there was one lap where he's like, I just need to try and go outside, and it was just down the hill, and I was like, gee, I thought he was gonna cartwheel. I couldn't believe that he stopped
yeah,
for it, but like the pressure that you had to deal with
yeah.
from that bike behind you, wide open.
Oh, it's all I heard.
Oh, I cannot imagine the way, like how you had to deal with that pressure.
Yeah,
And then you did the exact same thing to him in the
to
second
him,
one.
yeah. But I think I'm like the little ninja though. I don't think he can hear me.
No, there's no way you can hear your
No,
bike.
he doesn't. I know he doesn't hear me. So it is two different things for sure. I might start wearing earplugs so I don't hear his ass behind me.
You don't wear earplugs now?
No.
Yeah, dude, I went to...
I would need noise canceling headphones to keep that out of my head.
yeah, run the AirPods.
Yeah.
I never run them until we did a ride. We, like, you know, the point of Australia, like all the way up the top.
Yeah, you were talking about. Yeah.
So we just ride dirt bikes all the way up and all the way back. It's like 3,500 Ks round trip. And your bike's wide open, basically. Like we just do it on 350s and 450s. And you just fifth gear, just for fucking like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And after that trip, so for that trip, you pretty much have to wear earplugs. And after that, I was like, you know what? I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just I'm getting too old because these fucking things are so noisy.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely, like I said, that Star bike it's a loud one for sure.
When you hear him, like, I think it's funny, like, people might not, it's like, well, people that aren't in the press conference, like, in the tent, they see the dynamic, like, the gear Haiden switched in as soon as, like, the mic was on and the camera was on and just, like, talking shit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, where are you at on that nowadays? Like, I feel like you've probably been around him enough and you've got like, you guys have a very different relationship than if it was, like, if he was talking like that to someone else. Like, what's your take on the whole thing?
I mean, that's just his personality. You know what I mean? And it's two totally different personalities, me or him. Like, I'm not one to talk shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a strategy thing. If that's the way people think or what they try to do when they. I mean, I'm assuming people that talk shit, that's usually what it is. It's like trying to get in somebody's head. But I'm a pretty laid back person, so it's pretty hard to. I don't know. I hear that stuff and you kind of saw it with, like, I think a good example. Like, there's people that it can get to. I think, like, this Supercross season with him and Tom. It's like, I don't think Tom really bought into it at all. Like, it's like he didn't even hear him talking.
He's too French.
Like, he just
Yeah.
doesn't care. He's like,
Yeah.
all right, like, okay, that's just how you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's funny, but maybe I should just start just giving it back for the media, just to, I don't know.
Well, I text you, like, I can't remember what round it was, early in the Supercross season. And I'm like, hey, bro, 50% of people love him and 50% of people hate him. You can collect all 50%. you know?
I remember that. Yeah.
And just, hey, you just be like, if anyone wants to fucking be over here, come and hang out. It's really cool over here.
Yeah.
It's really mellow, you know? But I think I personally, for me, like, being in, like, the media sphere or whatever, like, sport's built on rivalries.
Yeah, it
you know?
is.
And you guys, you have a cool story
Yeah.
of how much time you spent together, how different your personality is, you know?
Yeah.
And I think, like, there's an element of, like, doing it for that, you
Yeah.
know? And, like, there's a bunch of hype. Like, I personally would fucking hate it if he stopped doing that.
Yeah.
We'd lose something because
would, yeah.
not many people have the balls to do it.
Yeah.
And can actually back it up.
Yeah.
At the same time too.
Exactly.
You know, and then, like, you look at the biggest star in the world in, you know, mixed martial arts or whatever, it's Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You know, so there's something to that.
For sure.
But we've never really had guys that wanted to go out and put themselves out there
yeah.
and then be forced to back it up and then, like, deal with the backlash. But it's like,
exactly.
he kind of is a bit of a special kid in the way that he doesn't give a fuck, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you just have to be. That's the biggest thing. You have to back it up. Like, as soon as he stops backing it up, I mean, it's going to be a long road for him.
Mhm.
So, and you've seen it with other people. Like, it's good for the sport. Like, you kind of need those people. You know, you need the superhero and you need the villain. Like, Jason Lawrence comes to mind. Like, he was sick. Like, I love Jason Lawrence.
Dude.
But he was the bad guy, and it was sweet. And you had RV, who was the good, quiet guy. And honestly, I think you're seeing a perfect rematch of that with
Yeah.
me and Haiden.
Yeah.
It's just RV and J-Law, but 10 years later or whatever it is.
So, hey, same color bikes, everything.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun.
And you know the coolest thing? When was J-Law's last race? 2009?
Oh, I thought you were trying to.
No, like,
I don't know the exact one, but yeah,
like,
Daytona. No,
nah, I think he probably did it. I mean, yeah, that would have been close.
yeah, that was close.
That would have been close to the end, right?
Yeah,
2009, and we're still talking about him.
yeah, exactly.
He won one championship.
Yeah,
and we're still talking about him
because
you
of the
know,
way he was. Yeah,
and he left an indelible mark on the sport
Mhm.
that is gonna be talked about forever. You know what I mean?
and like you said, it's like you either love him or you hate him. I mean,
But it's just, you know, it's funny. Like, it's definitely something I learned through doing this. Like, I was not that I am somebody now, but, like, before I did this, I could walk through a Supercross race, no one would know who I was.
yeah,
But you do something like this, and then you start to get all these good comments, and all these bad comments.
Yeah.
And you quickly learn that they're all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's like, if you want the good, you also have to want the bad.
Exactly.
Because you can't have the good without the bad.
Exactly.
And I think that, you know, if you can kind of get that equanimity with it, I think that's probably what frees you up to be a bit more of a character in the sport. When you're like, you know, like it's the same. Like it's good. If it's good, if it's bad, it is what it is.
I think as long as it doesn't, if that kind of stuff doesn't bother you.
Yeah, like I said, there's people that it gets to, and there's people that it doesn't. I mean, if people don't know me, I think just by them looking at the top of my head right now, they can probably tell it doesn't get to me, because I really don't give a shit what people think about me. But yeah, I don't know. It's without it, I mean, it wouldn't be any good. Like it would just be boring.
Yeah. Have you felt the love this year? Like you could feel like this was a year where Levi Kitchen, the brand, the rider, like really took some steps forward?
For sure. Yeah, it's been really cool. And I definitely think more people are backing me now, which is sweet. I mean, just at the race and stuff, you know, there's more fans, and I do my best to treat them well. And it's definitely, now that I have them, like, it's definitely crazy. And you start to understand why, like, you know, when I was a 8-year-old and I'd get frustrated that somebody wouldn't come say hi to me or sign something for me. But, you know, now it makes sense. Like, you got to focus, and you're there to do a job. And it can be a little stressful, but I try to do my best to give people the time of day. And I've even learned, like, if it's not in person at the races, if I can even, you know, if it's on social media or something, and just try to do it that way, like at least acknowledge people. I think that goes a long way.
Massive, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes I still try and reply to almost all the DMs we get.
I just got a video actually from this week, and I signed a little card for a kid, and the video was insane. The little boy, he starts tearing up, and he was just for a little card with my signature, and I was like, man, that's why I do it. You know, it's like, it's cool to think that, you know, I'm just another dude, but like, to think that people look at me that way, I think is pretty awesome. And I'll do everything I can to obviously to keep that repetition of just try to be a good dude, and stay as humble, you know, as humble as I can, for sure.
While also buying Rolls Royces and fishing boats.
Yes. Yeah.
That
is true.
A humble king that knows how to flex.
Yep. Yeah.
Then, and I think like the YouTube channel does like cool with that, like doing your own take on the vlogs.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think there's like some personal branding. I think there's like branding in that, and also like connection that you can have with fans through that too.
For sure. It's funny how you can find fans in anything, you know, like people dig the music I listen to. They either dig the cheetah hair or they don't. They like fishing. Like, that's how you gain fans, and how you become a fan of somebody. Like, I like Ricky Fowler because he likes dirt bikes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's the same thing for us. And I don't know, I think it's pretty cool how your other hobbies bring other people in. And the thing I've noticed the most that's been like sick for me is like, this probably sounds insane, but like I could meet, like nowadays I look at RV, like we're buddies, but I don't look at him as like that anymore. You know what I mean? But then I'll see like a sick BMX rider follow me, dude. Like, that's so sick to me. Like it's insane. Or like a skater, or just something that I grew up like. I always want to be a professional BMX rider. Like, I wanted to be good on those. Or I think skating is insane, or like anything like that. Like, somebody will DM me, like all my favorite BMX riders now growing up, like
they're all fans.
Yeah, and they've hit me up to like ride out here in California. I'm just like, that is so much cooler to me than
Villapoto.
Yeah, just because
unfortunately.
I know, and it's just weird how that works. And I'm sure everybody else would say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sick how it all kind of connects.
Yeah. Where you at in your golf game? How deep in the rabbit hole are you?
I'm pretty deep. Yeah.
I feel like you'd have a pretty good swing. Nah?
It's a weird one for
Have
sure.
you got any footage of you golfing anywhere?
Probably not. I throw up a story every once in a while.
I want to see the swing.
Yeah, I'm sure I got some on the vlog. Yeah.
I want to see the swing.
So
you got deep?
Yeah, pretty deep. I mean, I've been playing for 3 years now, I think. Somewhere around there. Yeah, probably 3 years.
What are we shooting, roughly?
My best round is a 76.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. But
All
that
right.
was, dude, that was like, this was in Florida.
Like
and it was a
lightning in
pretty,
bottle.
oh yeah, but it was like it's a short course. So like, honestly, if my wedge game is on, and it was that day at that course, like I would hit driver, and then I'd have anywhere from like 80 to 100 yards in is like a pretty sweet spot for me.
Yeah, just
And
rip
I was
it
just,
and rip it.
I was just up on into, and like I was just playing really good. But dude, it can go. I have to play so much
Yes.
to get to that.
Yep.
And now, like, I went and played the day before, like last Wednesday or something like that. And it was like I shot like an 87 or something.
Which is still pretty respectable.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but
in comparison,
you
to
know, like it's just
76.
crazy the difference the days, and it all makes sense when you see these PGA players. Like one guy will win, and then he could be
miss the cut the next
miss
weekend.
the cut,
Yeah.
and it's so relatable. It's just the way it is.
Well,
And-
so just so you know, whenever I ride, like
Yeah.
I have to be riding like 4 days a week to just
So-
like know what I'm doing.
Yeah. It's
So
the
like
same
what
thing with
you go
every-
through with golf, that's how I feel riding it. It gets so frustrating, dude. When we were doing the World Vets thing, like I was watching myself ride like just on a slow lap at Parlour, like we were filming, and I just did like a slow standing up lap, and I'm like, you even look better riding slow now
Yeah.
as a result of like riding so much.
Yeah.
I rode Glen Helen like 2 weeks ago and just fucking cartwheeled down the hill.
Oh,
It's just
boy.
like, bro, you don't ride and you think you can ride.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what like humans have to go through
On a dirt bike.
on a dirt bike,
Yeah.
which you guys just don't have.
Are you looking for one? Yeah. Which one do you think has? I think it would be like episode 13 probably.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Because he's watched every one of your vlogs.
Really, it's the one Posty filmed.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Oh,
right here.
bang, here we go. All right, go back. Yeah, first shot, golf.
There's some. If you scroll forward, there's.
Oh, the Bridgestones are a good ball too, aren't they?
That's my favorite ball.
You like
yeah.
that ball? Yeah, they're a good ball, dude. All right, yeah, let's just roll through this thing. Florida's so good for courses.
This
huh?
isn't a good example. This is the cross-eyed swing.
Hey, that's honestly a good swing though.
I'm trying to hit the ball. It was so difficult. Go towards the end. Yeah, right there. You go. Go back.
Yeah, some range, backwards range angles. Let's go,
Here's Chase. Let's rate the Chase swing out of the bunker.
dude. He'd be able to really rip through it. I can imagine.
Oh yeah, he's a pretty.
Is
good
that
golfer.
Chase?
No, it's my buddy Cole.
I was
He's
gonna say,
nuts
Jesus,
too.
he looks fucking stacked. Dude, Chase is a rig, eh?
Yeah, he is. He can lift a lot of stuff.
That wasn't your best.
No, I was trying to keep it underneath that
Oh,
tree. I
right,
had it
right,
like a
right.
stinger. There's a swing.
All right.
I just have a pretty bad sway, but
Yeah, like the hips come
I'm
back.
a
real far.
lengthy guy.
Got like that daily kind of vibe.
Yeah, but what's cool, like, it's sick to think that Moto has brought me things even in this stuff. Like Puma helps me out now and Cobra.
yeah,
So, yeah, Puma sends me shoes and yeah, there's your plug. They're awesome, and
they are awesome.
yeah, and same with Cobra. They've, you know, with the clubs and everything, it's pretty sick to think that like I'm not very good at golf, but like
You
just
can get
do-
free shit.
I can get free stuff
Yeah,
from being good
yeah.
on a dirt bike.
And I'm sure that like the free golf clubs just hit so much different
Oh yeah,
to like
but dude,
anything
the
free
most
moto.
embarrassing thing is like I'll go play like little tournaments and stuff, and I'll just get in conversation, and I'll like I don't even like bring it. I'll accidentally say like, oh yeah, Cobra sent me these, and then seeing people's faces, like I'm like I should have never said that. Like they're like, why in the world do you have clubs? Like how did you get clubs? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh boy.
So that's how my life is. How do you get that Alpine Stars gear? How
Yeah.
do you get it? I was like, well, I know. All right, I'm sorry.
But it's cool how it works like that. Yeah. And I think I own it. You know, I'm deserving of free clubs, not because my golf game's good, but because I can go fast on a dirt bike.
So who's the best golf dirt bike rider, you think?
Jordan Smith.
Yeah, dude. So he was like scratch. Like he was a really, really good golfer.
Yeah,
right?
and he was
he played.
like
properly.
he wanted to like there was a time like he wanted to do that, I think, for sure.
So he'd destroy everybody.
That races right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's after him that you play with regularly?
Man, I don't even know. He's like on another level, I would say.
He's like a
I mean,
real
I
golfer.
know there's other people. I'm probably just not close with them. I know there's some other good golfers out there. But Chase can be good.
Yeah.
Chase can be good for sure. But he don't play hardly at all anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even know I think we played in Hawaii was like the last time I played with, or no, it was that video, but he can be good. I used to play with Thrasher a lot. He can be pretty good. It's like, I keep saying he can be pretty good. Like, it's just, that's how golf is. We can play good. I can play good sometimes. But it fully depends. But Smitty's a standout, I would say. I mean, he can.
Yeah,
he
he was
can hit the ball.
actually like really, really good. Yeah. I remember having a conversation with his dad. Like,
Well, his dad works.
works at a golf course.
Yeah, so he
right?
grew up just golfing.
just
with his dad.
driving balls.
Yeah.
You know who else is really good?
Hmm.
McGrath.
Really?
Real good. Lefty.
I could see that.
Lefty, just a dope swing. Dude.
Yeah.
We played not Top Golf. We had dinner for Berriman's birthday at Mammoth
Mm-hmm.
last year. We rented out like this room that had like 2 golf simulators side by side.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, we just sent it all night, dude.
Yeah.
And the MC has a dope swing.
Yeah.
We need to do like a legit golf tournament or
Dude.
like a day for like all the riders.
And it needs to be planned like, I don't know. It needs to be planned. It needs to be at the last round, really.
Yeah, we should do something, I reckon.
Yeah.
Vegas. At the win.
Oh,
at the
dude.
win.
Yes.
Dude.
But it needs to start at like Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, like
because,
3.
Oh yeah, you know how we're gonna have a long night.
Dude,
in Vegas.
Dino's fucking after party. I haven't spoke to him about it, but I'm just like basically just putting it on him that I think that Dino's probably going to have the sickest party at Vegas.
Probably.
I don't know why. I just feel like it might be his last one.
Yeah.
It's probably his last, like real Supercross after party.
I'm
Vegas.
seriously, I'm saving everything for Vegas.
Have you done many after parties? Maybe too many.
No, not too many. One that's funny is when Nichols and J. Coop won in 21. Me and Matt LeBlanc drove from here. We were staying in Cali and we drove to Salt Lake and we got in somehow. Well, because it's Monster, but I just remember like the people's faces. Like I didn't know anything about after parties, right? I didn't know who would be there, and like RV's there, Myrtle's there, and they just look at me like, "What the fuck is this guy doing in here, dude?" Like, oh, I looked like such an idiot, but man, we had a night. It was pretty fun. And then what else? LA this last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was sorry, Monster, but that was a pretty lame one.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. I just remember having fun with Joe, dude. That was the funniest thing ever.
Was
awesome.
he wasted?
No, I don't even know.
Wasted Joe would be unreal.
Yeah, he probably had one beer, but he was wasted.
And wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was fun.
Yeah, you guys just missed that whole era, dude.
That's what I hear. I mean, I hear it was
first moved over
every
here,
weekend.
Oh, bro, that's why I was a filmer.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to the race and I had like Aussie accent. I would just
and now everybody knew you. Oh, okay, he's got the accent.
It was so fun.
That is so wild.
But every single weekend there was just like someone was going out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
Atlanta used to be the shit.
Really? Yeah. Now it's just, I mean, you got to have the upper hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
ever since I've been.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
But I think like, dude, the last round, like,
oh, for
especially
sure.
Supercross,
like if
let's
people,
go.
and if people try to act like we don't have fun, like in that circumstance, especially the last round. It's like, all right, last round of Supercross, if you get the job done. I mean, I literally went straight from the truck, went home, and pretty much cried myself to sleep at Salt Lake. But, like, I for sure would have done something if I'd have won the thing. And then, yeah, last round, that's always just, that's like my two, well, Supercross if it goes the way I want.
Yeah.
And then, well, I haven't got to celebrate that one yet, but
Yeah.
I'm working towards it.
So how bad was that night when you got the Salt Lake, like getting home and
I've
going
never-
through that?
Honestly, never went through something like that in my life. Like, I didn't really know that that's how it would feel, but
How did it feel?
terrible.
Just the worst.
Like, I don't even, and it makes me like think about some of like these other dudes, and it gives me more respect. Like, and it kind of all makes sense why people's careers maybe went, like AC loses the title, dominates outdoors, and wins the title. Like, he was just fired up. But thinking of just how people have lost titles and how devastated. Like, I couldn't be that mad because I was healthy. I gave it everything I had, and I don't know. I think back to what was the year Joey lost it, like in the last
17?
year.
Was it
Yeah.
17?
I don't even feel bad, or like somebody I could imagine how they feel is like Jordan Smith in that instance. He comes in with the red plate. He's in the position to get it just fine.
Oh, yeah.
He wads his brains out and he's knocked out and hurts his wrist. You know what I mean? Like, that's a shitty night. Like, I don't even know how I would feel after that.
Yeah, like you've got to deal with that for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
On the couch,
Exactly.
on painkillers.
Exactly. Where for me, it was like, it sucked that night. And then I was, I just accepted it. I'm like, all right, well, there's going to be more racing. And I did my job. I did everything that I felt like I could do. I established myself. I got the points lead. Nashville just went to shit. And that's where we ended up. After that, there was not as much I could do. And RJ freaking took advantage. I mean, he did great to get it back. He even told me, he's like, before Nashville, I had already stopped riding Supercross during the week. Yeah, he told me that straight up. He's like, I was still like, I thought there was maybe a chance, but he's like, I started outdoor testing, and then Nashville happened, and he's like, right back to Supercross. He's like, I'm in this again. But that just tells you, like, and I probably would have felt the same way. Like, not that I'm out of this, but, I had I felt like a pretty good buffer, and then I lost it.
Yeah. Dude, the ride at Nashville was fucking good, though.
Yeah.
Like, you should be super proud of that because, like, you clawed back.
Yeah.
Like, the championship could have been over for you that night there.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you even had a chance going into Salt Lake was extremely respectable on your end.
That's what I was proud of. Like, I mean, to give myself a shot even at Salt Lake. Yeah, like you said, I mean, it would have been pretty easy for me to lay there in Nashville, and man, trust me, I wanted to. I was hurting bad, and
your ribs were pretty cooked after that for a few weeks.
Yeah, they actually still bother me pretty much every time I ride, which is crazy. Ribs are a pain
They
in the
take
ass.
so long, bro.
Yeah, and I didn't even break them. Actually, I ended up just
Is it the cartilage?
Yeah,
It's
just-
almost worse.
exactly. Yeah, I broke ribs, and this is taking longer, so it's annoying. But yeah, that one sucked for sure. But it definitely taught me a lot. Just I'd never really been in that situation, and man, the mindset. Like, I think I could have had I don't even know, a broken foot, and I would have finished that race because it was just like adrenaline takes over, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not racing for. If it was the year before, I'd have pulled off, obviously. But it was like it clicked in my head. Like, I rolled around for a second trying to get my breath, and I was coughing like blood, and I was just like, I have to try to win this championship still. And I just, oh man, it sucked. But of course, it happens at an East-West though.
Ugh.
Like, had it been a West race, I think I could have caught up to maybe seventh.
Second or fourth. Yeah.
At least like up there.
Yeah.
And that one I only got up to 14th, but yeah, pretty gnarly.
But still, like, you're in the situation where like that cliche, every point counts, like literally clawing and fighting and scratching for every point.
Well, it's just so crazy the way you can look at certain stuff and like, had I gotten 12th that night and then just got my 2 results finishing out,
You would have won the
I would
championship.
have. Yeah, so it's nuts. It's really nuts to think about.
And I think the experience, like you might have lost some cash on that night, but damn, the experience that you gained of just like a championship week, that mindset, carrying that weight, that pressure, like just to go through those, like you can never fake those emotions and the ride that
I'm
you're
gonna
on.
have that upper hand. RJ will, whatever years to come. Like I've dealt with that now, and I feel like it'll play in my favor too when it comes down to it again. And I'll know what to do now for sure. I'll know what not to do, obviously, also.
Yeah. So how would you like to see your career play out in terms of like 250, 450? Like what's your like roadmap in your head over these next few years?
In my head is to do 250 Supercross next year, and possibly I don't really know. I know I want to start 450 outdoor, preferably rather than going into Supercross.
Yeah. Which I think is smart these days.
So I still really would like to ride a 450 by 26 or 27.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just what I would want to do. I would want to be on the 250 for probably 2 more years.
Was there ever any talk of Cowie when AC kind of was motioning towards retirement? Like, did they come to you or anything like that or no?
No, I mean, there's always a plan, and there's definitely talk with when I just even signed the Pro Circuit deal. Like, it's crazy these teams, like how much you time stuff, or like how much goes.
How much has to line up timing wise?
Yeah, and how much they think ahead. I mean, is crazy. Like, really, the plan, whether it's me or whether whoever it is, like, they want another guy probably in 26 to be is it out yet who would be on that bike by then?
It's Prado.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know if it's out, but I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody alongside him by then. So.
Yeah. Man, it's crazy how many dudes are going to start coming over from Europe.
Yeah.
Especially with Tom winning that championship this year. Like, I think that has crazy big implications on the sport. If he doesn't win that one, maybe, I mean, I know like the Coonan brothers are keen to come over. Kaiser Wolf's keen to come over. I heard Prado's already done a 3-year deal with Cowie. And it's like, man, that's pretty wild because there was
get gnarly.
Generations where like there was just no one came over, you know, like Kenny, Marv.
Yeah.
But man, that's going to get hectic. But it's not easy, dude. Like Tom was dominating when he left.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a lot to go through.
It is for sure. And that's why it's pretty gnarly. I mean, it's what most of us go through, I would say, whether you're coming from there going over to here or you're just moving up through the ranks over here. But it would be way different though, going from dominating to getting your ass kicked to get back to dominating, you know, like it's pretty gnarly for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So it'd be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. That's why it's so cool to me too. Like, I mean, most of the time when somebody moves from the 250 to the 450, they do okay. And like Hunter this weekend, I mean, he's excelling already. Like, but some of those grinders you see that just, they slowly make it happen. Like Justin Cooper, like he's been quietly, you know, just to keep your head down and keep going is.
Brayton was a guy like that too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. There was a lot. There's people that they don't do it right away. And for some people it takes a long time and then it happens, and others it's quick. But like you said, way back with the riding style, I think you'll see it take less time now, maybe. But who knows? I don't know.
Well, I fucking love this, mate. It's been great.
It has been.
I think, how long have we been going? I think we've probably gone.
We're at 3:16.
There we go.
Wow.
Goes quick.
That's insane.
Yeah, I looked at my watch. I'm like, damn, it's like 25-7. We probably should get out of here.
Jeez, that's nuts.
You got work tomorrow.
I do have work tomorrow.
Where are you? So what's you're out here just in between
just till Colorado.
Oh, you're going to stay all the way to Colorado?
Yeah. Then
Yeah,
I'm out.
sweet. Get a bit more testing in with the team.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Are you
Honestly.
excited for the new Cowie?
I am. Yeah. I mean, talking to Jason and Adam, I've heard nothing but great things about the 450.
Yeah.
So, it's always scary because
Yeah, I think you're dialed.
I think I
Yeah,
am
I
too.
think.
Yeah.
This
Honestly,
is one where I think it's sweet.
yeah. But the bike's so good right now. It's
Yeah,
like I don't
yeah.
even know what to ask for, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty damn good.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a cool, yeah, because I rode that 450. It's really cool.
Yeah, same. I love the 450, and it's not too big of a change, so it should be pretty dialed.
Yeah, and I think you got like the best dudes. They've been through this a few times.
Exactly.
The changes and stuff. But yeah, well, stoked we finally made it happen, and I'm pumped that you're getting the props now that I think it's been coming for a while. And like, so we got a couple boys in Australia that work for the podcast as well, and like they've been working for us for years. And like they've just been hardcore Levi Kitchen fans
Really?
since the Rock River days.
Heck yeah.
So it's cool. I think your personality is finally getting to show. I think, obviously the results are coming around. I think the fan base is starting to grow. And I think 250 riders now kind of getting a chance to like be their own stars and, not feel like they have to be quiet and just wait till they get on a 450. I think you're a good example of it. And I think, we've got one star in the 250 class and you're very different to him. And I think that it's rad that the fans have options.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's been great, obviously. And yeah, I'm just going to try to continue to be myself and kind of be maybe the opposite of others. And at the end of the day, I'm just grateful for everything that I've gotten, and just kind of the way the path worked for me is pretty cool. And I just do my best to show like there's two different ways it can go. Either you can be a superstar since you're a kid, or you can work for it and become one, I think. So that's always just kind of been my motive.
Levi Kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.